Welcome to the 79th World Series annual celebration. The World Series is a cut of Americana, and tonight the Brewers and Cardinals will become part of the continuum that is the history of the United States in history. It spans from Roosevelt to Reagan and from Ty Cobb to Colwell. Mike Caldwell's masterful three-hitter becomes part of that compact American history lesson. We're about ready for play, and two men in our booth who both played in the World Series and played on winning World Series teams. One with the Yankees and the other with the Cardinals. Let's go now to Tony Kubek and Garagiola.
Okay, Dick, thank you very much. Tony, for me, the word tonight has to be attitude. I think the Cardinals have a different attitude as far as Milwaukee's defense and speed. I think they were surprised by that. And I think the Cardinals' attitude has to be one of last night. Hey, they blew us out, and we've got to go from here because they really didn't have much of a chance after they got started.
So we might see a different kind of ball game tonight. Last night there were 10 or 11 base hits on the artificial surface that might have been outs on dirt and grass. Today, two different kinds of pitchers, Stuper and Sutton. Chances are we'll see more fly balls, so the big part of the park might come into effect. Another interesting thing that might happen is Hernandez said yesterday about Caldwell, he threw some suspicious-looking pitches. Well, Don Sutton has a reputation. How soon will Whitey Herzog challenge him if he's doctoring the baseball?
Probably the first pitch. We'll find out. Right now, let's go to PA announcer Joel Myers for the national anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, will you all please rise as we honor America with our national anthem. Playing its famed rendition of the national anthem tonight is the Southern Illinois University at Carbondale Marching Salukis Band.
scene is set. John Stuper for the Cardinals, Don Sutton for the Milwaukee Brewers. And we'll be back with all the action of Game 2 right after these messages.
Families are learning about home computers. The family with the Atari home computer is learning
Spanish, German,
French,
Italian.
the other.
No foreign languages.
The Atari family is learning
3 programs teach us to program.
the other.
We've only one.
And while the Atari family learns to play Centipede Star Raiders and soon,
E.T.
the other learned
We made a mistake.
over 1,000 programs featuring the world's most popular games. But sorry, only with Atari.
Around here, well, I guess we take work about as serious as anybody else. But I'll tell you something, boy, come sundown, ain't nobody more serious about having a good time.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Oh, welcome. You know you're welcome. Welcome. Everybody's welcome. Welcome to Miller Time. Yours and mine.
Here's your chance to get the official 1982 World Series program, a collector's item commemorating the 79th Fall Classic. Send check or money order for $4 to World Series program. Post Office Box 9800T, St. Paul, Minnesota 55198. Please make checks payable to World Series program. That's World Series program, Box 9800T, St. Paul, Minnesota. Allow 8 weeks for delivery.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. This evening from St. Louis, NBC Sports presents Game 2 of the 1982 World Series. The American League champions, the Milwaukee Brewers, against the National League champions, the St. Louis Cardinals. Brought to you by Atari, a leader in home computers and video games to challenge you, teach you, and touch your life. By Gillette, makers of Good News, the disposable razor with micro-smooth twin blades. By Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Beautiful Busch Stadium, another capacity crowd here as we get ready for Game 2. A lot of doom around town today as the Cardinals lost last night 10-0. And there is Lou Brock throwing out the first ball. All-time base stealer. Stan Musial right behind him, Hall of Famer. Brock certainly a future Hall of Famer. And the man in red, August A. Busch Jr. The lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, third baseman Paul Molitor, who set a new record, leads it off. Batting second, Robin Yount. Shortstop. Batting third will be Cecil Cooper at first base. In the cleanup spot, the catcher, Ted Simmons. Ben Ogilvie is in left field, batting fifth. Gorman Thomas in center field, batting sixth. Roy Howell is the designated hitter. Charlie Moore is in right field, batting ninth. Jim Gatner, the second baseman. And the pitcher is Don Sutton.
Defensively behind young John Stuper, Lonnie Smith. Changes center field, Willie McGee, probably the fastest man in this series. George Hendrick, Oberkfell, Ozzie Smith, Tommy Hernandez around the infield. Darrell Porter, the catcher, and young John Stuper.
John Stuper in 1982 won 9, lost 7. 3.36 earned run average. The first pitch hit to the third baseman Oberkfell, 1 out. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Batting
Ken Oberkfell is the third baseman, and he gets the first play of this game. And Robin Yount batting second. He had a big night last night, 4 base hits.
Stuper with a very lively fastball. He'll throw some pitches that'll go 90 plus. Good slider when he stays on top, but he can hang some of it. He's just learning a curveball. He has good movement on his fastball down low in the strike zone.
First pitch is his strike. The defense, interestingly enough, has changed, Tony. Straight away in center field is McGee. They went over the scouting reports, but as you see it, last night they were giving him a lot of room in right center field. Not so tonight. Ozzie Smith has moved closer.
That was the big change. The underestimation of the Brewers' speed last night. And Ozzie Smith is maybe 5, maybe 10 yards closer to the hitter. Or Yount anyway.
You remember
where he is.
Last night that line was in front of him. He's in front of it tonight. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. I think that was the big surprise, was the defense of Milwaukee and their speed as far as the Cardinals were concerned.
Well, Ozzie Smith caught 4 ground balls diving and lunging, but he didn't throw 4 runners out.
Robin Yount, the 3-1 pitch. He walked in. Molitor and Yount both batted 6 times last night, and that tied a World Series record with 20 others for most times at bat. And the last player to do that was Tony Kubek, October 9th, 1961. Do you remember that?
I think so.
Cecil Cooper, the batter. Hernandez holding him on. It's outside, and it's ball 1. That infield has really shortened up in comparison to last night.
And as we showed you last night, you see Hernandez at first base jump off to protect that hole, especially with Cooper up.
Certainly don't want to minimize scouting reports. They're important. I guess the only guy that really believed it was Custer, but until you play against these guys, you really don't get the feel. And tonight it's a different defense they're setting up. Infield is in. Outfield more straight away, not as radical.
The Brewers more of a big inning ball club. Yount had 14 stolen bases during the regular season, 3 caught stealing, but he didn't run that often. They don't want to take a chance getting thrown out when you got a next hitter coming who might get you 2 runs. They have so much power.
1 ball and 1 strike to count. There's Robin Yount on at first base. 14 stolen bases in 17 attempts.
Another reason why they did not want Robin to steal that much this year is because playing at shortstop and the way he has gotten all the extra base hits, they didn't want to wear him out before the season's over with. Take a chance he'd be injured.
2 balls and 1 strike. Here's that manager's delight pitch right here. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out. Cecil Cooper taking a good look. If there's a pitch they love to run on, it's right here. We may get to see Darrell Porter's arm. There he goes. Hit off the handle, looped into left field, a base hit. Robin Yount heading for third. Here's the throw, not in time.
And there's a case where the running game, the hit and run, may have caused a problem for Ozzie Smith. He tried to hold his position at short as long as he could. Cooper is jammed, similar to some of the hits they got yesterday. You can see he's tied up inside, but with Smith breaking over to cover the bag, he was not able to get back. There's an outside chance where he plays, he could have gotten that if he'd been able to hold his ground.
They started the runner, broke up the infield, and on at third base is Robin Yount. Cecil Cooper is on at first base, and Ted Simmons is the batter.
The pitch right there that Hub Kittle, the pitching coach, said that he makes mistakes with. A hanging breaking ball. That ball's down in the strike zone. It's a ground ball, probably the right side.
Strike 1, foul straight back. Simmons, 67% of the runners on third with less than 2 outs. That's the measure. More of a pitcher. What does he do when there are less than 2 outs? The hitter, you measure him. What does he do when there are 2 outs and a man in scoring position? That's when it gets tough. But there's only 1 out here. Right to Hernandez. To Smith. 1. Throw back. Double play. 3-6-3. So Stuper and the Cardinals get out of it on a 3-6-3 double play. Nice play by Hernandez.
Ozzy's, look it out. Hernandez Hernandez jumps off quickly. Ozzie set up inside so he wouldn't have to throw across the runner. Threw too far inside, and you saw the acrobat once again off balance. Nice scoop up by Hernandez.
So, a threat by the Brewers goes down. Milwaukee nothing. Cardinals coming to bat.
Sharp presents the genius of the keyboard, playing Sharp's new CS4800, the office calculator that performs like a computer. He performs difficult what-if projections instantly. Next, he performs on our remarkable calculator, Sharp's EL7050. It prints out 4-color charts and graphs brilliantly. Whatever your calculator needs, Sharp offers a very, very wide range. From sharp minds come sharp products.
Guys, we've got some good news.
And some bad news.
First, the good news. In shaving tests nationwide, Gillette's Good News disposable razor with micro-smooth twin blades gave men a closer, smoother, safer shave than Bic.
Now, the bad news. If you use Bic, you are not getting as close, as smooth, or as safe a shave as with
Gillette's Good News.
Sorry, Bic.
Gillette's Twin Blade Good News. It's bad news for Bic.
It began as a concept called the total car. It has become the totally new Ford LTD. Reshaped, refined, totally redesigned with new comfort, smoothness, with new gas-filled shocks for a remarkable ride. New Ford LTD for 1983. The total car, a totally new driving experience.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
A thing to focus on in this double play is not Hernandez or Cooper, but watch Smith. He will show you why I think he's the greatest showman in baseball since Willie Mays. And he gets more chance to do it short than Willie did in center field.
Cardinal coaches at first base, number 8, Hal Lanier, and over at third base, number 4, Chuck Hiller. Leading off for the Redbirds, number
Here's
28,
the lineup for
second
the Cardinals.
baseman, Tom Herr.
Tom Herr leads off at second base. Oberkfell batting second and third base. Hernandez the first baseman. Hendrick in right field, followed by Porter the catcher. Lonnie Smith is in left field. The DH is Dane Orge. Willie McGee in center field. Ozzie Smith is at shortstop. Don Sutton against Tommy Herr. There's the strike.
Sutton has not been that successful against the Cardinals in his career in Busch Stadium. He has 7 wins and 14 losses. Knuckle curve, slider. Turns a changeup over that will look like a screwball. And the last outing against California, he threw the ball pretty hard. It surprised him, I think.
High fly ball, short left field. Ogilvy coming in and makes the grab. Tommy Herr flies to the left fielder, Ben Ogilvy.
Batting second for the Redbirds, number 10, third
baseman, Ken Oberkfell.
Ken Oberkfell, the third baseman. We are having some technical audio problems. I'm sure you have heard the PA come booming in. We certainly hear him in our headset, and we'll clear it up. Strike one on Ken Oberkfell.
Sutton will throw some high fastballs and get some fly balls. I think he's basically a fly ball pitcher. And the home plate umpire, Bill Haller, an American leaguer, one of the remaining few who wears the inflated chest protector, might give Sutton and Stuper too some of those high strikes. Sutton, a veteran, might be able to take advantage of that a little bit more.
Foul ball down the first base line, and it's a quick strike 2 count. Tony, I know that there's a discussion about the balloon type protector and all that, but when that umpire sets up, his eyes are usually at the top of the strike zone. And that's where they begin from. And I know it's gone controversy with the balloon protector and umpires getting down on one knee to call pitches.
Any new umpires coming into the American League cannot use that. I think there are half a dozen still using it. Bill Kunkel is one, several others.
1 ball, 2 strikes. I know Jocko Conlon used to wear this, and I talked to Jocko in Phoenix before I left, and it doesn't bother. Good umpire's a good umpire if you use a washboard. High hopper, pull foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes, bottom of the first. As we look at the on-deck man, Keith Hernandez.
I'll tell you, Joe, there's Pete Vukovich. He will start after the off day tomorrow in Milwaukee. Start for the Brewers against Joaquin Andujar.
Nobody on. 1 out. No score. Bottom of the first. High fly ball. Right field. Charlie Moore waiting. And there are 2 outs. In contrast to Caldwell, Tony. 2 fly ball outs. Caldwell's got ground balls.
Caldwell last night got 14 ground ball outs. You know, that first double play, don't know how it's going to affect this game, but coming off a 10-0 first game shutout, and you come out string first and third, as Stuper had to do, and turning the double play, that may be a little bitty thing that could turn this Cardinal team around, give them a little bit of a boost early in the ball game.
Gotta believe it will. It's like the fighter who gets knocked down, but they don't knock him out. Goes back, and with the rest, comes back a little tougher. Hernandez. It is low, ball 1. Keith Hernandez. There's the strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hernandez missed batting 300 for the first time in 4 years this year. He ended at 299.
He's coming off a hot September, though.
Foul straight back. Bill Haller took that off the mask. One of the taller umpires, Bill Haller, his brother, general manager of the San Francisco Giants, Tom Haller.
It was like a back-up slider. Was it a fastball that Hernandez fouled off and ricocheted off the mask? And the first thing that umpire catcher does, I know you did, Joe, is check the bars. They can shatter, and next thing one goes through.
Well, he's got that old-time mask with a lot of protection, because you saw it as a back-up slider. He saw it as a teeth rattler. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
What a decoy boy, Simmons. He faked outside. He came back in.
High fly ball. Charlie Moore waiting in right field. Makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. Sutton. 3 fly balls. We complete 1 inning of play here. It's Milwaukee, nothing. St. Louis, nothing.
Introducing a camera.
Come on, Dad.
So easy to use, it lets you picture life.
You can do it. That's it. Come on now.
As quickly as it happens. This unique film disc and the new Kodak disc camera with automatic advance let you take a picture every half second.
Come to Dad.
For a moment this precious, you need a camera this fast. The new Kodak disc camera.
And now, an exciting message from Burger King.
We know you're watching the game, but you're waiting for something more exciting. Ready? Broiling beef frying nearly 2-to-1 in the coast-to-coast survey. Not better than baseball? Think about it. Nearly 2 out of 3 people chose broiling. Burger King broils. McDonald's and Wendy's fries. Okay, now back to baseball. But the second it's over, everybody up. Click off your set. Come on to Burger King.
It's Sears Every Coat on Sale sale. You can save 25% on every coat, vest, and jacket. Every coat and jacket for kids. From tots to teens and all kids in between. Every coat for men. In every style, color, and size that Sears has in store. And every coat for women. Dressy, warm wools, casual jackets, and more. But hurry, sale ends Saturday. To save 25% on every coat, you can count on Sears.
Tomorrow, the Cheers gang salutes the series.
Shut up, we're celebrating.
Then Alex and Louie are throwing nothing but strikes. Taxi.
Ben Ogilvy will lead it off for Milwaukee. And early in this game, we have seen a change in the defensive strategy of the Cardinals.
Cardinals scouts who scouted the Brewers for a couple of weeks. Mo Mazzelli, Fred McAllister, with them a long time. And as you said, Joe, you can say they have some fast runners, but until you see them how fast, plus once you get an artificial surface, you run a little more quickly.
So Ogilvy leads it off. and having his problems here in the postseason games, but he knows what to do with that bat, I'll tell you that.
Strike, fastball. And yet a chance to see from that center field shot, the movement on the ball. Haller is saying something to the Cardinal dugout, excuse me. I don't know if it's something protruding out into the field that he spotted.
A helmet.
All right. But you saw in that center field shot a moment ago how Stuper's ball sinks a little bit and runs away from left-handed hitters. So I would think if he keeps the ball down outside part of the plate, he might be a little bit tough to pull and get the ball in the air.
There's a breaking ball for strike 2. Stuper averages 3.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, 3.6 walks per 9 innings. Tried to hit the outside part of the plate, got it high. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Porter really not too worried about that pitch. Here's where he wants a pitch of decision right here. He wanted that first one to work for him. He got it, struck him out. Fastball.
Stuper, this is the first time we have seen him, appears to have the kind of fastball that when it sinks would be a very heavy ball. It'd be tough to lift, and also when it hits even the good part of the bat, it probably goes thunk and doesn't go very far.
And when it hits the catcher's mitt, it goes ouch. Puffs up your hand.
Ozzie Smith is playing Gorman Thomas much more closely than it did last night. They're not putting the shift on tonight. Moving back now, but when the delivery is on its way, he'll come in 5 or 6 steps.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. No score, top of the name, Gorman Thomas. Thomas takes a look at his third base coach. Harvey Keene may just turn the coach loose, Harry Warner, and give the green light to Gorman Thomas. Taking all away, he walked him. That's the second base on balls, given up by Stuper.
And out pops Darrell Porter. You know, John Stuper has seen the pressure on a pitching mound in the League Championship Series play, but he pitched a very important win for this Cardinal ball club on a Western road trip in front of over 50,000 screaming Dodger fans when he beat Valenzuela 3-2. Keene and Whitey Herzog.
0-0. Roy Howell, the batter. Howell, designated hitter. High hopper. Hernandez to Smith. 1. No return throw. A force out of Gorman Thomas. And there are 2 away.
Joe, I can think of some first basemen who with 1 out would have played that more conservatively. They might have just taken the 1 out at first base. And Keith Hernandez came up very aggressively. First look was not to first. The first look was to second base. High chopper. Thomas gets a fairly good jump, even though he's got an injured knee. Looking right towards second base to get the lead runner, keep him out of scoring position. Not too many as good as Hernandez. Gorman injured that knee in a tough collision slide with Boone in the League Championship Series. He is still hurting, as you can see.
Charlie Moore now takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Ozzie Smith gives Hernandez a good target on that throw. Inside part of the bag.
Man at the plate was one of the big surprises to the defensive infield of the Cardinals. They never thought a former catcher like Moore could run like he did last night.
That's all they were talking about. Even Caldwell getting to first base, when he had to cover, he ran like he was really serious about it. I mean, really got over there. Cardinals taking note of that. Howell is not a base-stealing threat at first base. Fastball is a strike. Has no stolen base. It's been caught twice. A good crowd on hand here, capacity. 53,723 last night.
It gets by Porter. He can't make a play. And let's see how they score it.
I'd imagine wild pitch as a breaking ball that Porter tried to get out in front of, but with that spin on it, it popped away.
He tried to get in front of it. You see him shifting over. Usually they've been backhanding that ball. It just bounced off his chest protector. It is a wild pitch. 2-1 pitch is high, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitch now to Charlie Moore. High hopper. Foul ball. On the radar gun, Stuper threw that last pitch 85 miles per hour. Which is about average. Maybe even a little bit below. I'd say average.
Joe, from just the few pitches we've seen so far in this game, it appears he throws 2 kinds of fastballs. One that is probably with the seam when it's down. The one that he threw up high to the strike zone might have been a 4-seamer. That might be the one that he rides up high and he throws 90 plus. He'll try and get the gun on it as the game goes on.
Down to third base line, it is a foul ball. Count remains at 3-2. That's the reason that I asked to get a reading, Tony. That high fastball looked, I mean, from up here, it looked like he really had something on it. And then that one we did get the reading was 85. There is a concession stand, the hot dogs. They're doing a booming business during the series. They watch some of the game and listen to all of it. There's the view they have. Smell of hot dogs in their nose. 3-2, 2 outs. Charlie Moore, base runner at second. Line drive, base hit. Howell coming around to score all the way to the wall. Moore has himself at least a double. He stops at second. Milwaukee 1, Cardinals nothing, as Charlie Moore, a hot hitter, drives in the first run of the game.
Looked like a high fastball. How about belt high anyway, that Charlie jumped all over.
Right center field, Willie McGee drifting over. He's there and retires Jim Gantner. That ends the inning, but the Milwaukee Brewers get on the scoreboard first on a double by Charlie Moore, driving in Roy Howell. 1-0 Milwaukee as we go into the bottom of the second.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
This is our deluxe model. Triple track, 2-storm.
There are certain things you've always wanted, but for some reason you just never got them. Like the Black & Decker Workmate.
So I caught this baby on 50-pound test.
It's not like you can't afford it, but somehow you never got around to getting one.
So she did 3 spades, so I did 3 no trump.
So next time you see a Workmate, instead of just longing for one, why not stop in and get it?
So I
The
doubled.
Workmate Work Center. It's time you got one.
Come on, Jeff. Let's go visit your brother.
At Children's Hospital in Buffalo, New York, Rosemary Morris had a baby boy prematurely. Premature infants need perfectly clean air. So now Children's Hospital uses an oilless compressor from the people of ITT. Because there's no oil in the air, there's no danger of adding harmful fumes. These ITT compressors are giving little brothers a better chance to meet their big sisters.
This USBA title bout will be a brawl. Frank the Animal Fletcher takes on James Hard Rock Green. The styles hard-hitting and relentless. The impact guaranteed. Plus, Gentle Giants share their ancient traditions. On NBC Sports World, it's a World Series weekend.
George Hendrick leads it off here in the bottom of the second inning.
And Joe, a little mistake cost the Cardinals a run in that last inning. After Hernandez makes the nice play on the force out, the wild pitch sends Howell to second base. With average speed, he probably wouldn't have scored from first base, but he did easily from second on the double.
It's 1-0, Milwaukee. There's the strike. One of the things that Ted Simmons told his teammates, the Brewers, if you hit one in the gap, run hard, because it'd probably get all the way to the wall. And Charlie Moore's line drive did get all the way to the wall. Curveball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Watch, see where Simmons sets up. Outside part of the plate. Misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. George Hendrick. Murphy and Oliver tied at 109. George, a big year, 104. Curveball. It was high. George didn't get it. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A little bit over anxious. He could have run the count to 3-1. Sutton gets away with a pitch that's up out of the strike zone hanging.
But how many hitters you know let that high curveball get away? That's what you write Santa Claus for. A sled and a high curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out, nobody on. Struck him out. Down Sutton. Gets Hendrick. First 4 men have gone down.
That man on the mound right there, I think it was one of the most brilliant deals made in a long time in baseball history by general manager of the Brewers, Harry Dalton, who really took a big gamble. Took a big gamble in paying big money for Sutton's contract to get him. What, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a year, whatever he was making, but it paid off because he was 5-1 September and early October. And he really won the pennant for the Brewers when their other arms were tired and fingers was gone.
Here is Darrell Porter. Strike is called. It has been always so coming down the stretch. Hank Barori going from the Cubs to the Yankees. Yankees used to get guys like Mai, Slaughter, help them down the stretch. Line drive, pull foul. Darrell Porter, 30 years old, 248 batting average, quite a story. That armband that they're wearing, in memory of late, great Cardinal Kenny Boyer. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'll tell you, Houston in that Sutton trade got Frank DiPino, Mike Madden, and Kevin Bass. DiPino is showing great promise, and we'll have to wait for Madden and Bass. Bouncing ball, and they had him played perfectly. Gantner to Cooper, and there are 2 away.
Sutton is the kind of guy you will find, as we use the radar gun, that disproves the velocity theory. He'll get the ball up 85 sometimes, but you'll see that his curveball will bite best around 75 miles an hour, the slider a little bit harder, that changeup about 8 or 9 miles per hour difference from the fastball. So he does it with location. There's the breaking ball. Look where it is. That was the location right there. Changes speeds.
2 things that he does. He gets ahead of the hitter, and he's not afraid to throw a breaking ball when he's behind the hitter. 2 balls and no strikes, 3 balls and 1 strike. You'll find him ahead of hitters. 1 strike pitch to Lonnie Smith. Bouncing ball. Shortstop Robin Yount has it. Long throw. Got him just in time. A fast Lonnie Smith. But Robin Yount got him. Don Sutton, who retires the first 6 men in a row, heads for the dugout to score 1-0 Milwaukee over St. Louis. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Tomorrow, a Yankee fan gets a big cheers welcome.
Shut up, let's celebrate!
Tomorrow night on Cheers.
Well, Horace, how do I look?
These inside out.
Presenting the investment that other investments would like to be. The Wells Fargo Market Rate Account. A $20,000 minimum balance gets you stylish money market yield and liquidity, plus the insured safety and convenience of Wells Fargo Bank.
Horses! We need horses!
The Market Rate Account from Wells Fargo Bank.
Over 50 years ago in Germany, Audi was already building front-wheel drive cars. Today, front-wheel drive perfection is built into every Audi, including the luxurious 5000 Turbo, the exciting 4000 sedan, and the exhilarating coupe. Audi brings innovative ideas from the old world to the new world. See your Southern California Porsche Audi dealer.
When I first saw the commercials, I thought they were actors or actresses, whichever, and I didn't believe you used real people. Then after doing my own comparison test and being asked to do so, I believe that you do use the shoppers that do come to Lucky's.
Lucky selects real shoppers to do a comparison test using their own shopping list, and they prove Lucky gives you a lower total. That's basic value. From Lucky, the discount supermarket.
$9.05 I saved on an order of $93.65.
The Latinization of Los Angeles tonight following the Forum presents.
From the Goodyear Blimp America, you see Busch Stadium. Blimp from Houston, Texas. Pilot Captain Don McDuff from Anson, Texas. Our cameraman is Al Camoin. What a view they're getting of this great city of St. Louis, and congratulations to the people and everybody because it looks great. I saw downtown. I went back to the old neighborhood, the Hill. I'm so proud of it. Great. Here's play-by-play Dick Enberg.
Thank you, Tony. Joe.
You're not nervous, I know.
No. Back on the Hill, huh? Is that where you went back today?
Saw it today, saw it last night.
Paul Molitor, the All-American from the University of Minnesota. His 5 hits, a World Series record last night. Grounded out his first time up and sends one up the middle, and another hit for Molitor. He opens the 3rd inning. Milwaukee in front, 1-0.
Number 19, shortstop.
So the handsome young infielder who's also played in the outfield anywhere Milwaukee has asked him to play delivers the 3rd Brewer hit this evening off young John Stuper. They'll watch Molitor. He likes to steal and has been very successful, as you saw from that graphic, thrown out only 9 times in 50 tries.
And this man right here can hit the ball through that hole if the second baseman's covering.
Yount walked his first time up. There goes the runner. Hit and run fouled off by Yount at the plate.
When they use the expression about setting up the table.
I guess he didn't foul it off. It was off the glove of Porter, and on to second goes Molitor. They call it a stolen base.
These guys really get on base for the big gunners. First 3 hitters in this lineup.
Porter goes out to talk with Stuper. Let's go back to the play.
Watch Porter. It looked like it just missed it. He was catching the ball down. Instead of the glove coming up, he went down. As he went to grip it, he lost it. And then with Molitor at second base, he just had a little conference out there, and I guarantee he's changing the signs.
We also had a chance, Dick, to see the aggressiveness of Molitor. He swung at the first pitch the first 2 times. Up the first pitch thrown while he's on base, he's off and going.
Now the Brewers, already a victory in the bank, have a 1-0 lead here in the 3rd inning and a chance to get more with no one out and a runner at second. Yount, Stute try to hit it to the right side. He won't have to. There goes Molitor to 3rd. That'll be a wild pitch as Porter looked like a hockey goalie trying to go out and cover the puck outside the crease.
That's really a tough play for a catcher. Watch that ball way outside. Everybody in the ballpark knows where the ball is except you, and you're lucky when you find it. It's a wild pitch. But I tell you, that was a tough play for Darryl Porter.
Well, a wild pitch set the table for the Brewers in their run-scoring second with 2 out. The wild pitch moved Howell into scoring position, and Moore checked him in with his double to left center. Count is now 2 balls, 2 strikes. The infield plays back up the middle. Oberkfell and Hernandez at 3rd and 1st are just a step behind the bag. They could come to the plate. Molitor comes in with a second run as Yount is thrown out 4-3. Molitor with a good piece of base running. He watched where the ball was going. Once it was by the pitcher, he realized there'd be no play on him and took the run. 2-0 Brewers as they've capitalized on some wildness from Stuper in each of the last 2 innings. Well, that Yount gets the runs home, doesn't he, Tony?
Almost 8 out of 10 times with less than 2 outs. That was his season average. Become a very smart hitter.
Cecil Cooper looped a single into left field his first time up for his first series hit. And on the season, pressed Hal McRae for that RBI championship, the Kansas City veteran, with 133 to win it, and Yount right behind in 4th place overall. Well, they're paying for the masks tonight. That one just got paid for.
Stuper continues to throw that breaking ball mostly up in the strike zone. He's one of the projects Hump Kittle has had, one of the young kids they brought up. 5 days with the Cardinals this year he was up. He was starting a ball game for them.
2-strike pitch all the way to the screen. And the fans a bit restless again. They didn't have a thing to cheer about last night in a 10-0 Milwaukee win, and now they find their beloved Cardinals behind 2-0 in the 3rd tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes. No one is throwing in the St. Louis bullpen.
I'm going to defend Porter. Once the pitcher releases it, he really doesn't know where it's going when you get right down to it, and he's had Porter like a yo-yo, up and down, in and out. He throws it and almost as if to say, here, it's now your responsibility.
Broken bat. Well, they're going to have to go back to the forest. The Brewers, they've chewed up a lot of trees in this series already.
4 last night.
4 broken bats last night, and Cooper's going back to the wood pile to get a new stick.
And like last night, all season long, the running game has been so important to the Cardinals. Every run that the Brewers tack on along the way means the big factor for the Cardinals, the running game, diminishes as they go along. You become more and more fearful of taking yourself out of an inning caught stealing.
Where's the line of demarcation for Whitey Herzog? Where will he say we won't run? 3-run deficit, 4-run deficit?
You know what Whitey's got? He doesn't have steal signs. He's got just a don't steal sign with most of the guys in his club. I can recall the Philadelphia-Kansas City series that I think Boa may have turned around down 4-0. He stole on Leonard, and that helped Philadelphia come back.
That went off the fist to the shortstop, Ozzie Smith. 2 gone in the Milwaukee 3rd inning. And that brings up Ted Simmons.
Number 23, catcher Ted Simmons.
Simmons, a most interesting man. He's all athlete on the field, hard-nosed, hard-hitting catcher. But in private, as we told you last night, and as you saw in our pregame feature, a man of many dimensions, from antiques to music and art to sharing the responsibilities of parenting. He asked him about that around the batting cage tonight. 2-0. I said, what'd you learn from a time when your wife went back to school at the University of Michigan and you took care of the children? He said, simply sharing. He said, I was raised traditionally too, and to know that you can do the things that a mother can do, get the job done, and it makes me proud as a father. 2-1. Well, he made the kids happy with that home run last night. He was 2 for 5. Ooh, he was ready to go for the high limb. He likes the fastball.
Now he's got one more of a pitch of an edge.
It's hit well, and he will touch them all again. With apologies to Thomas Wolfe, you can come home.
Pitching from behind again, as Forrest did last night. And Teddy Simmons did what he does best. Sit on a pitch in his area.
You could really see it on the 2-1 pitch, couldn't you, Tony?
Look at this. Got a ball a little bit of belt high, inside part of the plate. He does a little bit of Reggie Jackson right there because it was jolted.
That one went up into the seats high above the fence in right field, almost in the same spot where he clubbed it last night. 3-0 Milwaukee, 2 outs in the third. Ogilvy, he has his first hit of the series. And still no one throwing in the St. Louis bullpen.
And the fans' reaction is evident, I'm sure, to Whitey Herzog, because he had him moving very quickly down to that pen.
3 hits in the inning for the Brewers. It led off with Molitor's single up the middle. He moved to second on a steal and third on a wild pitch. Scored on Yount's groundout after Cooper popped up. Simmons with a home run, his second in 2 games of this series. And now an Ogilvy 2-out single. The Brewers can score runs. 10 last night. They've got 3 already in 3 innings tonight and looking for more.
It's been interesting what they've done, at least to this point, on Gorman Thomas. With nobody on base, they have not been putting the shift on. With a man on base, they move her over to the third base side of second.
They have Hernandez holding the bag, and then all the way you see just a step on the shortstop side is her, the second baseman. The first, that right field side, all he has to do is get his bat on the ball. He can almost bunt it into right field.
I think another factor is the 2 outs, that they're going to try to pick up 2 quick runs with Gorman Thomas.
Jeff Lottie, a right-hander, and Jim Cott, a southpaw, start the throw. They both appeared in last night's St. Louis loss.
Get a chance now to see the 2-strike, what Gorman calls his Harvey Keene stance. He just widens out his stance, hits almost flat-footed, sometimes takes no stride at all and tries to punch the ball right through that second base spot. Let's see if he does it.
1-2, and away again with the breaking ball. Harold Pee Wee Reese, one of the great shortstops in this game's history. Former Dodger, looking good.
Why isn't he in Cooperstown?
That's right. Well, they stacked it up on the left side, and it pays off as Oberkfell gets the force at second. But the Brewers cash in a couple more on 3 hits and leave 1. Middle of the third inning, 3-0 Milwaukee.
At Xerox, we make copiers that do things no other copiers can do. There's one that automatically copies 2-sided originals. Another one makes the finest quality copies. And another one does more jobs faster than any machine available. What has all this gotten us?
Yes? I'm selling Delmatic copiers. No, thank you.
Absolutely faithful customers.
According to a Prestone survey, 7 out of 10 cars on the road have rust in their radiators. Of these, almost half could look this bad. Any radiator could get this bad after just 10,000 miles driving on weak, neglected antifreeze. But look at the Prestone difference. Prestone, with its patented silicone silicate formula, forms a tough, protective barrier to lock out erosion. Be safe. Put in a fresh fill of Prestone now. Deep inside, trust Prestone.
For 1983, Ford, America's truck, is topping itself again with the new size Ranger, now with a diesel option. And this lineup of bestsellers, the best-selling full-size pickups in America. Best-selling four-wheel drive Broncos. Best-selling Ford vans and club wagons. And best-selling tough Ford mediums. Ford, first in total truck sales over the past 14 years. America's truck, built Ford tough.
It is 3-0 Milwaukee. Last the third. Tom Seaver, you've been charting the pitches.
Dick, one of the things we've been doing back upstairs is keeping a chart, and this is a chart that will be kept on the bench by the pitcher who's throwing tomorrow, or an executive up in the booth up here. It shows John Stuper what he's done. You can see Ted Simmons, how he was behind him 3-1 in the home run. These are the charts that the pitching coach will go over the next day. Very informative, and they'll be able to use them in future games.
Or the hieroglyphics of the game of baseball. We need another half hour for that interpretation. Last of the third inning. So every pitch, not only when you see that man down the dugout marking the pitch, what it was thrown, where it was thrown, what was the count, where did he hit it. So you can make a book on how to pitch the opposition. Dane Orge batting for the first time in the series.
As we look at Harvey Keene, the Milwaukee bench, Dick, I just want to mention how many times Sutton will start out ahead of the hitter. That's the sign of the good pitcher.
1 ball, 1 strike. That's a base hit for Orge. Well, there's a lot of quarters left for the St. Louis Noise machine. They haven't had much of an opportunity. And that's the first hit of this game, and Orge gets his first hit. A carpet single to right as he bounded one through the hole on that right side. Willie McGee in his first appearance in the World Series. David Green played center field last night. McGee with a sensational rookie season. Third baseman Molitor way in on McGee, looking for a possible bunt. Young man runs extremely well. Acquired from the New York Yankee organization for pitcher Bob Sykes after the World Series last year. He was the #1 draft pick of the Yankees in '77. Great stop by Cooper, and he gets Orge. It would have been tough to nail the flying McGee, but the right play made by Cooper.
One more time, these Brewers prove they are more than a one-dimensional ball club, a power club. They showed the speed last night. They showed a little defense, but now they show you a lot of defense in the first from Cecil Cooper. Orge goes after a out, and he shows a little bit of his acrobatics. Outstanding play. That is first and third all the way right there. Not for a brilliant play by Cecil.
I think
Look at that pitcher over there, ready to cover in case there's going to be a return throw.
I think it bears out what Simmons says. He said, we're not a bunch of lumberjacks just hauling lumber up to the plate.
That prone pitch by Cooper wasn't bad either. The fact that he could get an accurate throw, something on it, while flat on his belly. Ozzie Smith 0 for 3 in last night's game. #9 hitter in Whitey Herzog's lineup. Cardinals 1 out. McGee, we'll see now, trailing 3-0 if Herzog will let McGee run. He stole 24 bases this year. There he goes. He's got it.
Simmons didn't get much on that throw. It's a low throw, but then again, with McGee running, nice play by the infielder. Now, look at McGee. He's got his head down right for second base. He's going to straight out steal.
Willie McGee does not yet get a big lead. He is still learning. So whatever he steals, he usually steals on sheer speed.
So the first opportunity for the Cardinals to show their team speed after falling behind early last night on way to a 10-0 loss. And now the crowd alive, trailing 3-0. They'd like to see at least a dent in Milwaukee's lead. Oh, that's not the play, but he gets away with it, and Yount retires Smith at first base as McGee hesitated and then went on to third. And only a man possessing his kind of high speed can get away with that.
Two things on that, Dick. It's a tribute, of course, by Yount to McGee's speed, but also with 1 out, Yount says, I'm going to get the sure one. If there's nobody out, he might have taken a shot at third base and head off McGee.
It's not a good play to go to third, and now there's 2 outs with no one out. Then you take that chance, but it was a high risk, and McGee stands at third with 2 gone, and leadoff man Tommy Herr, the batter. He flied to left his first time up. 0 for 4 in the series. And he flies it deep to right center. No one there. It's a ground rule double and a 3-1 ball game. Actually, the fan, Tony, I thought, leaning over the wall, interfered with the ball, or with her speed, that might have been a triple.
Reminiscent of Ben Ogilvy going to the left field corner. And the fan reached in. You can see this big ballpark come into effect right now. Fan down over the yellow line.
Umpire's judgment as to where Herr would have finished had the ball gone off the wall. You saw both outfielders right there. So a double with 2 outs is the call. 3-1 Milwaukee's lead. And a chance for Oberkfell to pick up Herr. 2 out. Herr, a man who has never hit a big league home run, showed a lot of muscle on that drive. That would have been out of some parts or close to it. Two balls, no strikes.
Watch that fan reach over there. You see it. That ball would hit off the wall. Easy 3-base hit for Tommy Herr. They were talking before the game, Tony. I found it most interesting. Didn't go more than 2 games without a base hit, Herr.
Oberkfell, 1 for 3 last night. He's hit safely in all 4 games of the playoffs. 3 playoffs and the World Series. And punches that foul.
I think the Cardinals still need a little more to keep this momentum going. Maybe a 2-out base hit for Oberkfell right now. Get him in that ball game and keep him charged up on that bench.
But we're seeing now what we talked about last night. The Cardinal formula on offense. Speed, using the carpet. Orge's single was a bounder through the right side. Then McGee after the force steals the base. Herr able to get one up the alley to score him. And now Oberkfell trying to pick up Herr. 2-1 the count. It's 3-1.
And how big would this inning be if Cecil Cooper had not made that great play?
There'd be another run in and only 1 out had it not been for Cooper's sensational stab and accurate throw from the prone position. Line save. Here comes Herr. It's 3-2. Makes it a 3-2 ball game.
The dive by Gantner. Charlie Moore, the right fielder, gets that ball away like, well, almost better than any right fielder I can see in the American League. But that ball in the artificial surface just ate him up. Showed you how it picked up speed. He's used to playing on dirt and grass, and that ball ran right up his arm.
Keith Hernandez, the batter, still 2 out. 3 hits and 2 runs for the Cardinals here in their half of the 3rd inning.
The second baseman, Gantner, is way overprotecting the hole because Cooper has to hold the base runner on.
Boy, he is really drawn over. Look at the room up the middle for Hernandez.
I think it's interesting that they're playing Hernandez that much to pull Gantner on the right side. Since Kenny Boyer, the late Kenny Boyer, moved him off the plate when he first took over the Cardinals, he slapped the ball a little more off in the left field. Like that.
Might be a play in the corner for Ogilvy. And he's got it in foul territory. So after 3, a 3-2 Milwaukee lead.
Well, Cecil Cooper made a great play, and that's the spot where first baseman can make great plays. We'll show you something happened.
There's a time in life for the young to say, I want something else, a different way. The town's the same, the people too. School is over, needs something to do. The services have it, it'll really show. You'll see new places, you'll really grow in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Challenge, adventure, excitement too, a time to enjoy and see something new. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, feel really free, serving your country for all to see in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Be part of a team, be friends forever. A part of the services you won't forget ever. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
These families are learning about home computers. The family with the Atari home computer is learning
Spanish, German,
French.
Italian.
the other.
No foreign languages.
The Atari family is learning
3 programs teach us to program.
the other.
We've only one.
And while the Atari family learns to play Centipede Star Raiders, and soon,
E.T.
the other learned
We made a mistake.
over 1,000 programs featuring the world's most popular games, but sorry, only with Atari.
If you have oily hair, you have a different kind of sebum.
And all the detergent in the world won't change it.
Now there's a new kind of shampoo.
For oily hair only.
Foho.
Made with a blend of natural ingredients.
To control.
And normalize.
Oily conditions.
We drop oily sebum into Foho shampoo.
Look how it breaks up the oil so fine.
So fast.
So clean.
It lifts.
Right out of your hair. Gently.
Easily.
You get extra clean hair.
And to keep it that way for oily hair only rinse.
New Foho. It's not just a lot of detergent.
Tomorrow.
Hey, will you quit crowding here? You're already taking up mind space.
Those old pros, Alex and Louis, throwing nothing but strikes. Taxi.
The 3-inning totals, Milwaukee leading 3-2 here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Sports World returns Saturday after Game 4 of this World Series. What about that should be? Plenty of action. 12 rounds. Frank the Animal Fletcher, James Hard Rock Green. 12 rounds for the USBA Middleweight Championship plus sumo wrestling, 4 o'clock Eastern Time following the World Series Game 4. Roy Howell fouls it away. Howell safe on a fielder's choice and scored the Brewers' first run back in the second inning as he came home on Charlie Moore's double. Moore and Gantner to follow for Harvey Keene's Brewers here in the fourth.
Dick, this is an important inning, I think, for John Stuper and the Cardinals because the Brewers have scored in the second and the third. You'd like to see him, I'm sure Porter, the catcher, would shut him down for 1 inning to keep the crowd in the ball game and keep the momentum on the bench. And maybe his club would come back the next inning, score some more runs.
There's that high, hard one, and it's 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Missed inside with a slider.
That's the pitch that Porter's still trying to get in the groove for because so far all they can do is sit on fastballs off him if he keeps hanging the break. If he gets it down and they're starting like that, that's the thing. Porter's starting to work in that breaking ball down and inside, especially the left-handers.
The second strikeout for the 25-year-old John Stuper.
The toughest thing for a catcher, and watch this pitch because as Tony pointed out, Porter has been fishing for it. He finally got it here. The toughest thing for a catcher is to realize what the pitcher's best pitch is that night. And if he doesn't have a start, he's got to go fish for it.
Missing away as he starts off Charlie Moore. Moore rattled double off the left center field area his last time up to drive his first run in this series. He is 3 for 6. Had a double last night. 2-0. Stuper from Butler, Pennsylvania. Acquired from the Pirate organization in '79 for infielder Tommy Sant. 3-0. He's walked a couple of men, and it cost him a run on one occasion. 3-1.
Stuper appears to be a little more aggressive now out on the mound coming out, but he may then begin to overthrow.
Chop foul past third base coach Harry Warner. Forecast was for temperatures to drop down into the 40s, and apparently up in Milwaukee they said about the same kind of weather and 10 degrees cooler.
But clear, I hope.
Ripped to Oberkfell.
At times, Ken Oberkfell can be erratic at third base. You know, you use as a standard in the National League a guy like Schmidt. He comes close to that at times. He has nice range. He showed it yesterday to his left, and he showed the quick hands and the reflexes that a third baseman must have, especially on artificial surface.
Jim Gantner fly to center field. Doug Bear, right-hander, beginning to throw now in the Cardinal bullpen. One ball, no strikes. The use of the designated hitter has changed the strategy. We might have seen a pinch hitter even earlier last night, maybe even tonight by Whitey Herzog had he come to the pitcher's spot, but with a DH there's no one to hit for. Harvey Keene the same. Of course, he's been more accustomed throughout the course of this year not to have to worry about those things.
There's just simply not as much managing that goes on with the DH.
3-0. Redbird country, St. Louis. How they've loved their team through this century. And now in the 13th World Series for St. Louis. Missed again, and on 4 pitches, Gantner gets the 3rd free ticket from Stuper tonight. And with 2 outs, brings up the leadoff man, Paul Molitor. Molitor with 6 hits already, and we're just into game 2. The Major League World Series record for most hits is 13. Stuper, by the way, has added his name to a World Series record list. He joined 7 others with 2 wild pitches most in a World Series game. Jim Bouton of the Yankees was the last to offer 2 wild ones, and that was back in 1963. It's surprising that just 2 is the record. Gantner is not a serious threat to steal. He had 6 during the course of the year. That's off the front foot of Molitor. 1-2 the count.
You know, Dick, in last night's 10-0 ball game, the Brewers had, well, every man in their 9-man lineup was on base at least once. So far in this ball game, they've had somebody on every time too. So that puts a little added pressure onto the defense. Creates a few more holes if they want to start runners. They've got to shorten up just a shade at times. Going.
There he goes. And the inning is over as Molitor strikes out. So Stuper stays in the game with his 3rd strikeout. No runs, no hits, and 1 left. The tension red on the face of Harvey Keene and Whitey Herzog. It's 3-2.
It's a funny feeling when you're 17, just finished school and times are lean, don't have a job, don't know what to do, never learned a skill and you want to work too. Well, you know the services have the means to teach someone who's still in his teens. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they'll take you, train you, show you the way. You'll work hard, get decent pay in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Serving your country's a real good start, helping pay for colleges and services part. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Future in doubt, shed that lead. Join the services and get ahead in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
There's more to John Hancock than life insurance.
A good lawyer has to examine all the evidence before planning a strategy. The John Hancock companies do this too, by offering all sorts of ways to help people like me manage their money. Everything from tax planning to IRAs, even money market funds. The way I see it, you can't make a stronger case for good financial planning than John Hancock.
John Hancock. We can help you here and now, not just hereafter.
The beauty of a Delta faucet is, when it's on, it's on. And when it's off, it's off. Its washerless design helps keep it from dripping, so it lasts and lasts and lasts. Delta faucet. We're first because we last.
Tomorrow, Cheers talks baseball. Boston stinks. And Carla gets 3 hits. 1, 2, 3, cheers.
St. Louis Spirit is up. 2 runs scored in the last inning to make it 3-2. And here in the bottom of the 4th, George Hendrick leads it off against Don Sutton. Pops it back foul, out of play. Hendrick, Porter, and Smith for the Cardinals in the 4th. 3 straight years he's been the big man. Home runs and RBIs to lead the St. Louis team. Series, struck out his first time facing Sutton. Exaggerated closed stance. 2-1. Sutton not as sharp as he was on Friday last against the Angels when he was magnificent through the first 7 innings. That ball moving so well, and he put it right where he wanted it. Up and playable. Cooper coming down from first.
So that's the point you made a while ago. 2 balls, 1 strike. Appeared to be a slider he threw, and that's the confidence he has in his breaking stuff.
I think if there are 2 things you can look for with Sutton is how many times he starts ahead of the hitter and what he does when he's behind 2-1, 3-1, 2-0. And then with that great center field shot, watch Simmons with that good low target, just kind of moving the glove and just fondling the ball. Watch the low target he gives.
They put a mild shift on, Milwaukee does, for Porter. As Yount's only about 10 feet, as you can see on the shortstop side of the bag. And look at Molitor's position. He can almost reach over and touch Cooper. And the outfield swung around accordingly. 2-0. In the 4th inning. Don Sutton, Alabama born and raised. He once was in quite a pitching duel with another pretty good pitcher, left-hander Ken Stabler. The only time that he was beaten, Stabler, in a high school game. 3-0. Porter, because of the love that these fans had for Ted Simmons, he was not welcomed all that well when he came here to St. Louis, and he struggled. I think he's tried too hard. 198 at home was his batting average here at Busch Stadium. He rips this one foul as Herzog green lights him 3-0.
And then what happened to Porter, too, he came up with I guess, a slight tear in the right shoulder, rotator cuff. It hurt his throwing, and I'm not surprised if it didn't hurt his hitting a little bit, too.
Herzog has always been a fan of Porter's. Had him, of course, at Kansas City with the Royals. Third baseman Molitor back a couple of rows behind the commissioner's box.
The evolution of Porter is kind of interesting. He started with Milwaukee, became a pretty good catcher, and was at Kansas City where he had the big years, and then the Cardinals paid for those good years he had at Kansas City when he came here. Free agency. Monopoly money.
It hasn't changed the game as much as its critics feared it would in terms of all the power going to the big cities. Molitor again playing him just right, and Porter's out for the 2nd time for 3. Or check that, Kantner at second base making the play. Second baseman.
Number 27.
Commissioner Bowie Kuhn himself in tenuous times. Many wondering whether or not the owners, the American National League, will rehire Mr. Kuhn. But here, and of course, will join us in Milwaukee's County Stadium for Game 3 on Friday night. Lonnie Smith out on a close play as he grounded Robin Yount in the 2nd inning. Leading hitter for St. Louis during the course of the season. Two balls, no strikes, so suddenly Sutton is not getting ahead of the hitters, but falling behind. Porter was swinging 3-0. You have to figure Smith will take a cut at this one if he likes it. Change, 2-1.
Sutton actually called that pitch himself sometimes, and he's one of them. He'll use the scoreboard to count out and even, and with the flick of the glove along the left leg, whether he's going to add or subtract.
Check swing roller. Molitor to Cooper, and the inning is over. So Sutton, for the third time in 4 innings, retires the side in order. Coming up for Milwaukee in the 5th inning, it'll be Robin Yount, followed by Cecil Cooper and Ted Simmons. And we'll be right back in St. Louis after these messages from your local station.
The Voyagers find history has run afoul when Babe Ruth considers quitting.
Baseball just wouldn't be baseball without Babe Ruth.
So they must get the Sultan of Swat to swing Sunday.
Datsun 200 SX. Here's blistering acceleration that left 70 other cars behind in this toughest of all rallies. Datsun 200 SX, twin-ignited Hemi-head muscle wrapped in power styling. Datsun 200 SX. Drive this fuel-injected beauty and you drive a winner. Proven from Mombasa to Main Street.
Datsun, we are timid.
All wide bodies start out roomy. Then, on most airlines, that space fills up. But on TWA, it's different. TWA has a separate business class that's spacious and comfortable. And it's on every wide body flight. TWA's ambassador class has bigger, wider seats and fewer of them, with room for longer legs and wider bodies. Couldn't have said it better myself.
You're gonna like us, TWA.
Roberta Flack on the Forum presents Following the Men of October.
A reminder, NBC Sports has a full lineup for you on Sunday. Beginning at 12:30, NFL 82. We'll kick it off with a special 1-hour edition, all the latest from the strike talks. Hopefully that'll be resolved. Then it's NBC Sports Special starting at 1:30 Eastern Time. You'll see championship NASCAR racing. Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Allison battling it out in the Charlotte 500. Plus, live boxing as Livingston Bramble battles with James Bubba Bushimi in a 10-round lightweight fight. And capping off the day, 4 o'clock Eastern Time, Game 5 of this World Series, if necessary. The Fall Classic, brought to you the way only NBC Sports can. That's all Sunday. NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television. The redhead, Red Shane Deans. He's been a part of 4 decades of World Series play. He was a player in '46 with St. Louis when they won it against Boston. He was a player for the Milwaukee Braves when they won it in '57, lost in '58 to the Yankees. Was a manager when the Cardinals won it in '67 and lost in '68. In the '70s, a coach, and now here in '80, a coach again with the St. Louis Cardinals. Under Whitey Herzog in a World Series. So a man familiar with these environs, and what a quality person. Hit well by Yount. Smith back, and Yount rattles the boards. Backed up by Willie McGee to hold Yount to a double.
And that is not an unfamiliar sight to Robin Yount. He's the only shortstop ever in the American League to lead in both slugging and total bases. Banks has done in the National League. He thought it was out. It was another hanging breaking ball from Stuper, which brings Whitey Herzog out in a hurry. You know, I think it's ironic. I think superstar stats are made from guys like this because he's been in the big leagues 9 years. He's still only 26 years old. You look at the Mazes, Aarons, Clemente, the guys that last 15 years. Robin Yount is just going to the prime of his career.
Jim Cott will come in to relieve John Stuper as Whitey Herzog makes a pitching change. So a break in the action here in the 5th inning with no one out. And the Milwaukee Brewers leading the Cardinals 3-2.
Sat down with Mom, talked to Dad. Can't get it together, makes you feel sad. You know you can do it, you wonder where. You want it soon because you really care. The services can help you so you not only get better, you really grow. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll work hard, they'll make you a man. Responsibility is part of the plan in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Prove you can make it. Prove it to all. Serving your country and walking tall in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You've got it together. They'll see in a glance. Thanks to the services, you got the chance in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer, for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
From the edge of time
comes the digital watch of tomorrow, today. The new Dress Digital by Timex. Incredibly thin digitals with a totally new technology. All push buttons are gone. Digital control is an amazing command bar. Discover the new, very beautiful, micro-thin Dress Digitals by Timex. Built and priced in the Timex tradition. Timex, we make technology beautiful.
Tomorrow, a Yankee fan gets a big cheers welcome. Tomorrow night on Cheers.
43-year-old veteran Jim Cott in relief for the Cardinals after Robin Yount doubled to open this, the 5th inning for Milwaukee. Cooper takes a strike. Cott pitched last night. An inning and a third, was the only Cardinal pitcher of 4 that was not touched up for a run by Milwaukee. He has a single and 2 trips, and he has another base hit. Here comes Yount around third. And Milwaukee builds its lead to 4-2.
And Dick, Jim Cott was put in to try and prevent Cooper, of course, the percentages too, but to try and prevent Cooper from pulling the ball with a man on second, no outs. He didn't pull the ball, he jammed him. Put in also to force Simmons to bat right-handed, and then probably go to Ogilvy, the left-hander. That might have been all for him. So he did what looked like a job, but he flared one out there again.
Well, Cooper showing why he's such an outstanding 300 hitter. Both of his hits have been to the opposite field, and remember the big hit that eliminated the Angels in Game 5. That was a line drive to left field. Ted Simmons, who has homered both times in this series, left-handed, and there he is admiring his long blast and the appropriate congratulations in that third base dugout from his Brewer teammates. That action in the 3rd inning when Milwaukee had built its lead to 3-0. Cardinals scored 2 in the bottom of the 3rd to pull within 1, but now Yount double and Cooper single, 4-2, and Doug Bear continuing to stay loose down the right field corner for St. Louis. 1-1 the count. Two balls and a strike. You know, last night, Joe, you were having some fun with a submarine pitch by Jim Cott. We asked him about it before the game tonight. He says he'd like to come back with a lot of those next year. He thinks it can be a very effective pitch, and he's willing to make another transition. Might keep him around a couple more years.
And I think it will.
He says he throws it without any fingertip contact with his index finger or his middle finger. He just uses his thumb, his ring finger, and little finger when he throws it. 3-1. Simmons hits it high to center field, and Willie McGee waiting for it to come down. 1 out. Cooper back to first.
And there's a chance this will be the last hitter for Cott, even though he gets Ogilvy out. Herzog's trying to find some way to shut this team down, the Brewers, so he can get his team back in the ball game. Brewers are the ones doing the pecking away today.
Well, they've shown why they are the most offensive team in baseball. They can score runs, 5.5 average on the year.
Those top 3 men really get the job done in that lineup for Milwaukee.
Inside Ogilvy. Well, Molitor with 5 hits last night. Yount had 4. Cooper with a walk. That's 10 base runners from the top 3 spots in the order. Tonight already, we have 5 base runners from those 3 men. 4 hits and a walk. That is a good line. They just don't come and set the table. They're prepared for the feast. Watching the lead of Cooper from first base, and popped up on the left side. Ozzie Smith. Shortstop has it. Before he caught the ball, Herzog was on his way to the mound. You call that, Tony. He did his job, got the switch hitter Simmons and the left-handed hitting Ogilvy, and now Doug Bear beckoned from the bullpen. We're in the 5th inning here in Game 2. St. Louis, Missouri's Busch Stadium. The score 4-2 Milwaukee. Breaking the action. We pause for this word.
Well, moms and dads the world around give their kids the same old sound. Got to go to school, be a big success. They wouldn't settle for anything less. Now they've learned whatever you seek, you'll help yourself to reach your peak. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Need a trade? Looking for a skill? They have hundreds to fit the bill. In the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Want more school? Don't have the bread. They'll help pay to get you ahead. Talking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Mom and dad, they'll want to shout. He's made it big. There's no doubt. Thanks, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
Ford workers believe they're building the best cars in America. You'd expect that, right? Well, what about car owners? Well, an independent research firm talked to 11,000 new car owners about quality. GM owners, Chrysler owners, Ford owners. The results. Ford quality is better. Head and shoulders better. I didn't say that. Ford didn't say that. Car owners are saying it. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Sharp introduces the SF-825 copier.
Hold it! I'm here to demonstrate how the SF-825 reduces two ways or enlarges.
Really?
Make a small copy of me even smaller or an enlargement up to 120%. Sharp's SF-825 has 44 diagnostic features.
I love the copier, and you're cute, too.
Hey, don't forget your original.
We replaced 500,000 transistors and diodes with one tiny chip. From Sharp's minds come Sharp products.
Tomorrow.
His name is Alex Rieger. He's been missing for 15 hours.
But he's not missing here. He's striking it rich. Taxi.
Number 40, Doug Bear.
Doug Bear was developed into a fine reliever in the last 4 or 5 years. Former Cincinnati Red teammate of Tom Seaver. 5 and 3, as you saw his numbers on the year. 8 saves and a good ERA. Trying to check the Brewers, who have built a 4-2 lead. Here in the 5th inning, 2 out. He inherits a man at first base, Cecil Cooper, and works to the long ball hitting Gorman Thomas, who tied Reggie Jackson for the home run championship in the American League this year with 39.
Good overhand curveball, Bear. One time he was pretty quick, very sneaky. It was short arm delivery. He complements Bruce Sutter very well. I think when Sutter's with the Cubs, it was Dick Tidrow that did that, held the team close so Sutter could finish him off.
6 feet tall, 180 pounds, 33 years of age, graduate of Bowling Green University. Bear. They play Thomas deep and pulled around to left. In the dirt, 2-1. Kerr is a step on the shortstop side of the bag, so again Thomas has that whole right side to shoot at, but a single won't score a run. And Thomas is up there trying to get something more than just a base hit. He wants to hit it long. 2-2, breaking ball.
I cannot find scoring.
Thomas with a walk and a ground out. Here in game 2 is 1 for 5 in the series. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Misses 3-2 of a breaking ball. So that'll send Cooper from first base. See if Hernandez plays behind the runner. Outfield very deep. Tough to really hit one between them. They're almost on the warning track. Runner goes, and Thomas strikes out. Cott and Bear out of the bullpen to hold the Brewers to 1 run on a couple hits and a man left. Coming up, it'll be Forge, then McGee, and Smith. 4-2 Milwaukee.
How did your brake sound before you came to Kmart K-Care?
Plunk, squeak. I have to use my hands to show you.
What screech?
You know, by that time, you know you've got to have brakes.
If you need brakes, come to Kmart for our front disc brake special. You'll get a K-Care price and sure stocks.
And I knew the brakes wouldn't go out. If I needed them, they'd be there.
Let Kmart K-Care take care of you.
Oh, it was great. The car stopped.
K-Care is a good car care.
Bob and Sandy Davis needed 2 incomes to afford the home they wanted. Then tragedy struck.
Allstate update. Joint mortgage protection.
Sandy died before the mortgage was paid. Allstate Life's joint mortgage protection could have helped pay off their mortgage if either of them died for less than the price of 2 policies. But the Davises didn't have it. If you both work, talk to an Allstate agent. For life, home, and auto, put yourself in good hands.
The RCA video disc player. No other video product in history has sold more in its first year. Just look at why. The RCA video disc player lets you see great entertainment on your TV with a remarkable picture, and now even stereo. Players start at $2.99. Plus, if you buy one now, you'll get 2 video discs free direct from RCA. That's right, 2 free, but hurry.
The Voyagers find history has run afoul when Babe Ruth considers quitting.
Baseball just wouldn't be baseball without Babe Ruth.
So they must get the Sultan of Swat to swing Sunday.
Well, this is quite a quinella. Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, I'm Dick Enberg, Tom Seaver starting pitches. We're at the halfway mark. 4.5 innings of game 2, 4-2. The visiting Brewers lead. Want to congratulate our buddy Merlin Olsen. I hope you heard the news. He has been named the Grand Marshal of the Rose Parade 1983. What an honor. All the great presidents and entertainers. Merlin Olsen will be up in the front of the parade on NBC. And Joe, you've covered many of them. That's, you know, the honor.
Ah, that is. So Father Murphy made it, huh?
He's been contacting the right person.
He's in management.
Don Sutton protecting a 4-2 lead. Orts, broken bat. Gantner gets him.
Pitch that was up a little bit. Last inning, Dick, was a little un-Sutton-like. He got behind all 3 hitters in the last inning, but then he became very Sutton-like because he got them all out with breaking pitches. So we'll see as this develops. He's going to retain that pattern. He was getting ahead of hitters early.
Willie McGee steps in. Just to recap for those of you who may be joining us. Milwaukee, as they did last night, took the early lead. A run in the second inning, 2 more. One of them on Ted Simmons' second home run in 2 games. Made it 3-0. Cardinals finally scored, bottom of the 3rd, to make it 3-2. And Milwaukee has added a bonus run here in the 5th inning on a double by Yount and Cooper single. 4-2, last of the 5th inning. Moose Haas is throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen, but he may just be getting work between starts. Hopped up. Yount wants it. We're talking about being nervous. Robin Yount, he's got his mind not only on affairs here in Busch Stadium in St. Louis, but also at home. We'll give you that story in a moment.
Well, Ozzie Smith, we asked him before the ball game if defensively the speed of the Brewers was underestimated by the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think we really had, we didn't know that as many of those guys ran as well as they do. So therefore, having played them last night, I have a better idea of positioning tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to counterattack it a little bit better.
And we have seen the Cardinal infield playing much tighter toward home plate. 2 outs. Smith grounded to short, his only at bat. 1 strike pitch. Robin Yount, as we were saying, his wife Michelle is expecting any moment their 3rd child back in Milwaukee. Check swing, foul, 1-2, and Robin told us before the game, he said, if I could have my druthers, we'll just pick up a nice little win here in game 2. My wife will pick me up at the airport in Milwaukee late tonight, already in labor. I'll get her right to the hospital. We'll get that done on the off day and back to business on Friday. Such is the life of the baseball star and his lady fair.
Haller just signaled to Harvey Keene, the manager. I think he was trying to straighten the count out up on the board. Barry Warner, Pat Dobson, Sam Simplizio, a part-time coach, all sitting there.
2-1. Yount with a 2-hopper. And it's an easy inning for Don Sutton. He's now retired 7 in a row since the RBI single by Oberkville. We've completed 5 innings of this second game of the 79th World Series. Surprising Milwaukee, leading St. Louis 4-2.
Car window look like a vacation wonderland? You need Widget.
What's Widget?
Having trouble trimming wallpaper?
No.
You need Widget.
Widget?
Introducing Widget, the handy scraper and cutter from Gillette. It scrapes, cuts, trims, and handles with ease. Look for Widget where Gillette blades are sold. So, the next time you need help opening a tough box, get Widget. New Widget from Gillette. It's perfect for scores of chores.
Here's to good friends.
Do you guys realize this is our 4th summer place together?
Remember that old beach house we had?
How about the time you two almost set the woods on fire?
Okay. Who's ready for a lowered brow?
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brow.
You know, I think we finally got this down to an art.
Let it be low and brow.
From the depths of space, from the edge of the earth, Timex takes quartz to make a watch beyond time as we know it. The Timex Quartz. Quartz for every man. Handsome in the newest ways. So accurate you may have to reset it only once this year. Thin, sleek, elegant. The Timex Quartz. Built and priced in the Timex tradition. Timex. We make technology beautiful.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Your World Series station, KNBC Los Angeles.
Roy Howell leading off the Milwaukee 6th inning. After that high limb, a fastball from Bear. Howell, Moore, and Gantner for the Brewers in the 6th. Dick Enberg, Joe Carasciola, Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver. For Game 2 of this World Series, the Brewers the underdogs. And they ruffled the nest of the Cardinals last night 10-0, and they lead 4-2 after 5 innings tonight. 1-2, he went around, said third base umpire Satch Davidson.
Looked like a pretty good curveball. He's got a good downer. Pitch that is equally effective to left or right-handed hitters.
Charlie Moore, not only a couple hits last night, but this fine catch as the Cardinals tried to muster a rally in the 8th inning. A tough play, hit directly over his head. Boy, that catcher has really converted himself into a fine outfielder. And he's hitting the ball again, just foul. He has an RBI double tonight and is 3 for 7 in the series.
It's almost a cliche, but he really uses all the ballpark. Last night, down the left field line between the third baseman and the bag. Here he hits it just foul down the right field line. Another broken bat.
Moore ripped a double to left center and was out on a hard ground ball to third. He hates to give up that bat. By the way, that last fastball from Bear at 89 miles an hour. That's the fastest pitch we've seen in the series.
We I've looked at that curveball, too. We had a Sutton curveball at 75. I've looked at Barry's had a couple of curveballs at 72 and 3. I think it's interesting. Probably the most in-depth study with a radar gun was done by 3 Dodger teammates, Messersmith, Sutton, and Tommy John. They charted for 2 years speeds of curveballs and what speed they bite best at. We're talking about the difference between changes and fastballs.
Pitchers really will go and look at a chart, say, how fast am I throwing this particular slider? Maybe I'm overthrowing it. Moore swings and fouls that one down the left field line. 0-2 to the right fielder of the Brewers with Gantner to follow. Friday night, Game 3 here on NBC from Milwaukee's County Stadium as the World Series returns to that brew town. Willie McGee. And the center fielder has the second out in this 6th inning.
Number 17.
Gantner is the hitter. He's fly to center and walk. They've called this the Sud Series with these two capitals of St. Louis and Milwaukee enjoying their brewing of beer. In fact, the two governors have a bet You need 4 games to win the series and 4 cases of Milwaukee beer against the 4 cases of St. Louis's finest.
Worst joke was by the mayor of St. Louis. Call it the World Beeries. Oh, that's a slump.
Well, he worked on it, though. Gabner fouls that back, and it's 1-1. Doug Bear has retired the 3 men that he has faced, 2 strikeouts and a fly ball since coming in relief in the 5th inning. Ooh, good breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Milwaukee has not trailed yet in the 2 games of this series. Jammed him. Ozzie Smith with a pop. And Bear, for the first time, retires the Brewers in order. So it all started with the young right-hander John Stuper. He gave up 4 runs. Jim Cott got his 2 men out, and now Doug Bear. It's 4-2.
Jackie Stewart, consultant to the Ford Motor Company.
It takes a lot of energy for your car or engine to push a bad aerodynamic shape ahead. On the other hand, if you do that, it's a very clean shape, and your hand slides through the air very easily, saving a lot of energy. At the same time, a good aerodynamic shape in a car presses the car onto the road, makes it more sure-footed, gives you better grip and adhesion. Basically, that's what aerodynamics are. Someday, all cars will have it. Ford has it now.
In 1958, Levi's original blue jeans were banned from many high schools across the country, and Levi's cords became a jean to beat the dress code. Since then, most schools have found little correlation between one's jeans and one's higher education, and students have written Levi's cords into a dress code of their own, with lots more colors and a look that walks the perfect line between jeans and slacks. Levi's cords, jeans for the new dress code.
Arcade players, get ready. The new Atari 5200 Super System is here. With a controller so advanced it plays arcade. Graphics so real it looks arcade. With arcade hits you can't play on any other system. No other home video system can touch it. The new Atari 5200 Super System. It's as good as you are, maybe even better. Next time.
Tomorrow, Cheers talks baseball. Boston stinks. And Carla gets 3 hits. 1, 2, 3, cheers.
Lots of Cardinal red here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Cards trail the Brewers 4-2. Resetting the defense for Milwaukee, the battery of Don Sutton and Ted Simmons. Around the infield, Molitor at 3rd, Yount at short, Gander at 2nd, Cooper at 1st, Ogilvy in left, Thomas in center, Moore in right. Top of the order for St. Louis. Burr doubled in a run in the 3rd inning, followed by Oberkfell and Hernandez. They're in at the corners. Burr will drop a bunt occasionally. 1-0.
He looked like he tried to get hit by that pitch, didn't he? A breaking ball inside. Just flipped his tail end around and tried to take a shot.
He powered one on 1 hop off the right field wall. A fan leaned over to pick it off. Drove in a run in the 3rd. And then he later scored himself on Oberkfell's single, the only 2 St. Louis runs. And the crowd comes into play.
Sutton is one of those pitchers, and the good pitcher will do that if he starts to get tired, as he starts to rub up that ball and maybe put something thoughts about doctoring it in the hitter's mind. But he'll tell a manager if he's getting tired, because he says if I can get him to the 7th and 8th with a chance to win, then the manager and their bullpen's got to carry it the rest of the way.
Yeah, the maturity that comes with all of those pitching years in the big leagues. He has 258 career wins. There's the bunt, but foul, 1-2.
Don Sutton says that his fastball is about as good as when he was a kid. He thinks that his curveball is not quite as sharp. He's adopted to that by learning 2 different kinds of change-ups. Is somebody on Sutton's bench? No.
No, somebody was out of the dugout from Milwaukee.
Sutton has been accused of doctoring the ball different ways, whether he does or not. Right there on the pants, right there. Is there something there? I don't know. Goes to the cap, you can suspect pine tar. To the hair, you might expect Vaseline. Some accused him of wearing a transparent ring with a point on it, plastic, that he could cut the ball with.
Sharpening his belt buckle. Goodness gracious. That's it for Tommy Herr, a breaking ball.
Now you see right there what Sutton is doing, and to my mind, I think that's illegal. Is that what they used to call the old shine ball in the old days? You get that part slippery, and if there's something there.
But they do everything they can to make hitters think they're doing something. I think it's part propaganda, which is good.
Oberkfell, a line single to right field to drive in a run back in the third inning. Strike one, a breaking ball.
There he goes, and you got to think about it. He shook hands with Perry and gave Perry Vaseline and exchanged his sandpaper.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Sparky Anderson, when he managed the Cincinnati Reds, kept 16 baseballs one year, sent them to Chub Feeney, and everyone had a cut over Chub Feeney's name in almost an identical spot.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Chuck Tanner had Tony Boyer, the trainer, take a knife and cut about 17, 18 practice balls, real old ones, and say, here's what he's been doing. So they do everything, both sides, but he's still leading by 2.
4-2, Milwaukee in front. Don Sutton with 1 out facing Oberkfell. And just misses. Levels the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sutton is now 37. Acquired from Houston on August 30th for the 3 minor leaguers, DePino, Madden, and Bass that Joe told you about. That's a foul ball. Sutton is, through his great career, has moved up on the all-time pitching list. He holds most of the Los Angeles Dodger pitching records. He has 56 career shutouts. That ties him with Bob Gibson, number 9 all-time.
If I were a hitter, I'd ask to look at that ball, Tony.
I don't think it does any good.
Well, I know, but I would still ask.
Look at, give right back to it.
And you know what tennis says, why should I ask for it? Then he knows that I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to give him that edge. So
That's
there's
right.
2 schools of thought.
That's right. 2-2. And a base hit. Thomas gets it in. Oberkfell is aboard. That brings the tying run to the plate. Keith Hernandez.
Well, Hernandez, after the ballgame yesterday, said he thought that Caldwell threw some funny-looking pitches. We asked him what he'll do if Sutton threw one.
Baseball. I'm sure Whitey, last time we played against Don Sutton when he was with Houston, Whitey asked for a few balls, and quite a few of them were scuffed up. But I think he just uses that just to make his curveball break more.
Al Hernandez, a solid 300 hitter in his big league career, but 0 for 6 in this World Series. He represents the tying run. George Hendrick, another. There goes the runner. And Simmons won't get him. Oberkfell got a great jump.
Simmons with his release, he had a breaking ball, but Whitey is getting exactly the reaction that he's looking for. There's the jump. He wants his crown to react. He wants his ball club to wake up, and nothing will do it quicker than a stolen base.
Not a good throw by Ted.
Well, with 1 out, runner in scoring position, and Hernandez pounds it foul.
Hernandez, the last 2 times up, has kind of slapped the ball the opposite way. It'll be interesting to see with Sutton way ahead if he tries to bust him inside. Hernandez is the kind of hitter will look in certain situations, but when you're down 2 strikes, no balls, you're just trying to make contact.
Sal Bando told me that Simmons has been surprised the way he's been throwing the last 2 months. Really been throwing well, but they've been able to steal tonight.
0-2 the count. 1 out. 4-2 Milwaukee. Fastball away. He's setting up something. His out pitches tonight have been the breaking pitches. Very few fastballs in the strike zone. Darrell Norman, Whitey Herzog. His team is down by 2 runs, but with 1 out here in the 6th. a chance to draw within a run if Hernandez or Hendrick can cash in Oberkfell. Hit to right, but not well. Moore has a play. Tagging is Oberkfell. He advances to third, 2 away. And it's up to George Hendrick.
Number 25, right fielder, George Hendrick.
Now here's the Cardinals' top RBI man, as the cry from the dugout would have it. The right guy in the right spot. A chance with a base hit to make it 4-3. He is 0 for 6 in the series. So Hernandez and Hendrick, the two big hitters in the middle of the lineup between them in this series, are 0 for 11. Fastball, strike.
Atlanta crowded George Hendrick, but Milwaukee and Sutton working to the outside part of the plate.
Check that statistic. They're 0 for 13 between them, Hernandez and Hendrick. Strike 2. Couple of fastballs.
Here comes the battle now. The good hitter against the good pitcher. Hendrick, 2 strikes, tries to go up the middle, and I'm sure that Sutton will use this pitch to set up his 1-ball, 2-strike pitch, because he's got to make this work for him. I doubt if he'll go out and get him right here.
Breaking ball, 1-2.
Here's his pitch of decision right here.
What's he going to throw him?
I say he's going to throw breaking balls. We look at the base runner Oberkfell, a breaking ball outside. I don't think he'll give him a fastball, Tony. It's too dangerous to come inside where he might pull it.
You can get Hendrick out up and in if you've got something on the ball.
And it's up and in.
Better be something on it, because he can turn on the ball. He's very quick.
Or it'll be up and out.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at third, 2 away. Almost got him to fish. There it was. He does have a good downer, doesn't he?
It's a real battle going on right here.
Last of the 6th inning. The Brewers lead 4-2. Oberkfell at third. And the count goes to 3-2.
He went breaking ball the last 2 pitches, and now he's got the tying run in Hendrick. He can't give in to him. He's got to go with his best pitch.
Hendrick, a very patient hitter, took a pretty good breaking ball in 2-2. Now he's got the count full. Ball 4.
He just would not give in. He went to the breaking ball, missed, but he wouldn't give in.
Cooper down at first base asking for a sign from Harvey Keene. Should I play back or hold him on? They tell him to hold him on.
Harvey Keene. Remember the big trade between Keene and Colavito back in the late 50s? Tigers and Indians. Darrell Porter. Runner at third. Oberkfell. The tying run now on the first walk of the game by Sutton is carried by Hendrick at first base. Porter has grounded twice to Gantner, who's playing shallow right field, almost behind the first baseman.
Simmons from behind the plate moved Cooper back a little, moved more back to right field.
Ball 1. Now Sutton had Hendrick 0-2, and now it's missed on 5 straight pitches.
Breaking balls, which is unusual to see a pitcher throw 5 straight curveballs.
Hendrick carrying the tying run at first base. 2 gone. There's the fastball, and he gets the corner. 1-1.
Jim Slayton, the right-hander. Bob McClure, the left-hander, get going for Harvey Keene's Brewers.
Porter has hit safely in all 3 playoff games, plus a 2 for 3 in game 1 last night of the World Series. Not had a lot of luck with men in scoring position. You saw 184. Porter backs out. Runners at the corners for St. Louis. Swung through the breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
That's a great shot from center field because Simmons is playing a little cat and mouse. You notice him kind of going out with his left shoulder, hoping maybe that Porter's trying to sneak a look that he's going to stay outside because they've been pitching him outside. Porter's been trying to pull it and has not been that effective, but he's been kind of playing cat and mouse, setting him up. Never trust a catcher in a spot like this.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner goes, and it's a base hit in the left field corner. Here comes Hendrick with a tying run. The ball gets away, and Porter goes to third.
Call by manager Whitey Herzog. 2 runs down. He starts the runner with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Porter hung with the ball and just served it down the left field corner. Ogilvy's relay as Hendrick scores a tying run. And the ball just goes on through. Not backing up the play. And Simmons has to go way down behind first base, and error will be given.
Error is on the second baseman, apparently. No, now the left fielder. They change it. Error charge to the left fielder. Smith with a chance to give St. Louis its first lead of this young series. A 2-run double by Darrell Porter has tied it at 4, and he's at third base with 2 gone. Took something off the breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Smith, the leading hitter for St. Louis this season, but is 0-for-6 in this World Series. Two and 1. Porter at third base. And the Brewers, for the first time, find themselves in a position where they won't own the lead. They've found themselves tied. Foul back.
I think the standard they've used since Sutton came over to Milwaukee is when he gets between 80 and 90 pitches, they start watching for him to tire. Harvey Keene, with Raleigh fingers gone when they got Sutton, has been going longer most of the season. In fact, Sutton lost the ball game late to Von Hayes on 1 pitch, his only loss since he came over, a 3-run home run that beat him that only game.
That's right.
Cleveland.
He had that game all but 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runs in. It's tied at 4 in the 6th. Got in with a breaking ball. The 3rd strikeout for Sutton, but listen to this crowd. Two runs on a 2-run double by Darrell Porter. It's even at 4. Back into these messages from your local station.
Tomorrow on NBC Nightly News, how are congressmen really spending their campaign funds? And the rebuilding of a shattered city. The people who are bullish on Beirut. Yesterday's engines didn't have to work hard to power the average car. Today's smaller engines don't have it so easy. They rev higher and work harder. That's why there's Castrol. Even at high revs, Castrol doesn't suffer a significant loss of viscosity. And that's important, because if you make things too hard on your engine could make things hard on you. Castrol, engineered for smaller cars.
GTX 1040 and 2050 on sale for 99 cents this week at all Kragen. Only one bank, First Interstate Bank, lets you cash a check all over the West for up to $200. Only one bank lets you cash your check in any one of nearly 900 offices, from Oregon to Utah, Nevada to Montana, because only one bank, First Interstate Bank, has a bank card that identifies you throughout an 11 Western state territory. Stop in at First Interstate Bank, the only bank system where interstate check cashing comes with the territory.
From Japan comes one of the world's most technologically advanced imports, Dodge Challenger. Built by Mitsubishi, master car builders of Japan. Over 50 features of standard equipment. An outstanding achievement at its price. Unmatched by Datsun 200SX or Toyota Celica GT. Dodge Challenger. Built by Mitsubishi, master car builders of Japan. Imported only for Dodge. See our full line of technologically advanced imports. Come to Dodge.
A World Series special, the men of October, following the baseball game.
Don Sutton with 258 career wins. Tom Seaver, 264. One analyzing the other.
Dick, it's funny. We showed you this chart of the ball game earlier. You look at last inning. Don Sutton was on the mound. He threw 29 pitches. Guess how many fastballs? 6 fastballs is all. He went totally to the curveball, to the changeup. He's been very effective using his fastball out of the strike zone. Of the 6 fastballs he threw, 5 of them were for strikes. But he went totally, maybe he's getting tired, but he went totally away from the fastball. 23 out of 29 breaking balls or off-speed pitches in that inning.
And he had Hendry going 2 on fastballs and lost him on the breaking ball, and that set up the tying run. Don Sutton's wife cuddled up in this high 40-degree temperatures. It's a 2-2 tie. 4 runs, 7 hits for Milwaukee. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Cardinals. John Stuper, a race from the book. He won't figure in the decision. It's Doug Bear's ball game. Paul Molitor did not go around, says first base umpire John Kibler. The count is 2-0.
And for the first time, there's Kibler. The first time in this World Series, only the second game. That man is up in the bullpen for the Cardinals.
He only gets up when it means something.
Bruce Sutter, the fireman of the year in the National League. Almost impossible to score upon or beat in the last half of this year. 2-1. Bear isn't exactly stumbling along. There's Sutter. $125,000 richer, an incentive bonus for winning the National League Relief Pitcher of the Year award. 3-1 to Molitor. Ball with 5 hits, a World Series record last night, and a single and 3 at-bats tonight. Fouled off the head of the bat. That into the dugout of the Cardinals. Molitor, Yount, and Cooper. See the Cardinal players with the heavier jackets. Again off the head of the bat as Molitor just making contact. Yount with a walk, an RBI ground out, and a double is on deck.
Is not an easy man to throw a fastball by, and that ball just took off. It exploded.
3rd strikeout for Doug Bear.
Watch where this thing ends up. Bear putting a little extra on, maybe thinking with Sutter warming up, now Lucy has settled down in the bullpen, that this may be his last inning.
Robin Yount, 5 for 8 in the series. And a fastball strike. Led the league in slugging percentage in 1982. A select company, Banks, Hornsby, and Wagner, 3 Hall of Famers. Yount had just an incredible year for a shortstop with a bat. .331 average, 29 home runs, and 114 RBIs. And tied for the league lead in doubles with 46. 1-1. Hit high to left. Lonnie Smith. 2 away.
Whitey Herzog was talking about Bruce Sutter using him only when it means something, and he does think a little bit different. Listen to what Bruce Sutter said.
Well, it means a lot of difference to me because a lot of my pitches aren't strikes, and you know, when I get in there and the game's on the line, I think the hitter's more nervous than I am. I have the baseball, and he's got to hit it where somebody can't catch it.
Simple enough.
Yeah, this is like Willie Mays. What's the secret? I see the ball and I swing at it. Try to hit it. That's all you have to do. 2 outs, Cecil Cooper. A couple of hits tonight and an RBI single. One of them 2 for 3. 2-0.
You know, just a footnote on what Suter said. You hear hitters say, I can't lay off the pitch. It starts out in the strike zone. Obviously, it doesn't start in the strike zone, according to him. He's just playing on the hitter's feeling.
Fastball, foul back. Oh, he was right on that one. Milwaukee scored a run in the second. 2 in the third to make it 3-0. Simmons hitting a home run, a solo in that third. Cardinals back with 2 in the third. And Milwaukee scored in the fifth, 4-2. St. Louis tied it with 2 in the sixth. He got it. That high fastball through the swing of Cooper, and it's 2-2. Bear has retired all 6 men that he has faced in relief, and he's 2-2 on Cooper. Hit well into the right field corner. Fair ball. Hendrick has it, and Cooper will settle for a double. He's 3 for 4.
And it looked like he had a pretty good pitch, too, off there.
And
he was rated in a poll of American League managers, taken by a writer from Toronto. As Herzog comes out, Cooper was rated as the best 2-strike hitter in the American League by the managers.
Well, there was that 2-strike pitch that he hit for a base hit against the Angels to get him into this series, and that a 2-strike delivery. Here comes Bruce Sutter, and we'll be right back to see how the ace does.
On the gentle hillsides of Europe grows the most costly oak in the world, prized by winemakers for centuries. This oak has now been brought to America to make some special casks for a vintner whose wines are winning awards both here and abroad. The wine aged in this costly European oak, a brilliant golden Chardonnay from the award-winning winery of Ernest and Julio Gallo. From Ernest and Julio Gallo, all the best.
Nothing like an Egg McMuffin puts breakfast right in your hand. Take it to go or eat it nice and slow. It's the taste that's loved all over the land. With Canadian-style bacon, fresh egg and cheese.
Have an Egg McMuffin, please.
Nothing like an Egg McMuffin, fresh and hot right in your hand. You deserve a break today at McDonald's.
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
There's the grip that Suter uses. Now, he has extra long fingers, but watch the motion on that split-fingered fastball. The thumb is the key thing. Watch how it rotates, and the thumb actually pushes it out, much like if you were shooting marbles. And he has a callus on his thumb. Inside his right thumb, there is a callus, and there are a lot of reasons why other pitchers can't master it.
We're not going to fool with Ted Simmons. Simmons, who homered last night and again tonight, walked intentionally. 2 outs. Cooper at second with a double.
I had a pitcher tell me that what we just saw is not accurate. And it wasn't Suter. He said that it is impossible to throw that pitch with the thumb out. And he said whenever Suter does something for publication, he decoys everybody because he doesn't want anybody else to pick it up. He figures if somebody else learns that pitch, his will become less effective. And that's what a pitcher who throws it. Well, he throws that split-fingered fastball, as did Raleigh Eastrick for a while.
Well, they may throw it, but they have not been as effective as Mr. Suter, and everything else. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I don't know what he does. It made a great story. It made a great picture. He is a great pitcher. He gets him out. I believe him.
Suter will watch it. That ball's like a fastball that just sinks in the last 15 feet. There it is. It's away from Porter. No advance by the runners. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the 7th inning, and Suter in a 4-4 tie.
That is at 81 miles per hour, too. And there it goes down. It looks like a fastball, and down she goes.
Ogilvy takes 1-1. He'll throw the fastball occasionally just to keep the hitters honest. And in Suter's words, you heard him, he doesn't throw many strikes. The hitters in this situation, they're eager to hit, the game on the line, and they swing at bad balls. Tough play for Smith. Gets it. A marvelous play by Ozzie Smith. And they're on their feet at Busch Stadium.
Ozzie Smith steals it from Tommy Herr. That man is the biggest rally stopper in baseball right there, Ozzie Smith.
So the combination of Suter and the shortstop, Ozzie Smith, checks the Brewers. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Stretch half of the 7th. A 4-all tie.
Guys, we've got some good news.
And some bad news.
First, the good news. In shaving tests nationwide, Gillette's Good News disposable razor with micro-smooth twin blades gave men a closer, smoother, safer shave than Bic.
Now, the bad news. If you use Bic, you are not getting as close, as smooth, or as safe a shave as with
Gillette's Good News.
Sorry, Bic.
Gillette's Twin Blade Good News. It's bad news for Bic.
Here she comes.
There you are, out from the camera.
Looks good enough to eat.
That's his cowboy suit. The horses hate it.
Here are 3 men on a horse.
I'm a girl.
You look like a real cowboy.
Cow person.
Trade you mine for yours.
Well, put your toupee on, I'll take another.
Can't you hold your stomach in?
See? Before and after. If you don't have a sun camera, something's left out of your life.
Makes you look 20 years younger. 20 won't do it.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time, but fans, they forgive and forget. When I go in here, they'll be buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. You, Bob Uecker? Hey, how you doing? These fans, I love them. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Well, can't keep the gang waiting. The fans are always joking.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Wow, they're having a good time in there.
Tomorrow,
How would you like to take a flying leap up a knuckle sandwich?
the Cheers gang talks baseball. Then Alex and Louis slide into the big time. Taxi.
We'll show you the replay of Ozzie Smith with 2 men on, getting the last out. He has been so close to making spectacular plays to this point. Just out of Reese diving, Don Sutton, man who's now out of the ballgame, Joe.
Bob McClure has come in to relieve Don Sutton. And with a play-by-play and to carry it the rest of the way, here's Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Dick Enberg. David Green is the pinch hitter for the Cardinals. McClure, a left-hander, 5'11", 170 pounds, born in Oakland, California, now lives in Walnut Creek. And David Green is the pinch hitter for Dane Orge. We're all tied at 4 apiece. Strike 1.
That delivery of McClure's is a left-handed version of Gene Garber's of the Atlanta Braves.
Shows you a little bit of his back. Hides the ball. Strike is called on Green. Green is a pinch hitter in '82, was 4 for 12.
McClure, lively fastball, good slider. We'll show you that turning of the back motion. And if somebody gets on base, you will see that he has the best move to first base of any left-hander, maybe in baseball, but especially in the American League.
Misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You can see Harvey Keene's thinking in this, too. Put a McClure in this spot to try and negate the speed in case somebody gets on for the Cardinals.
A strikeout. David Green out on strikes.
Number 51, center fielder, Willie Maggey.
There it is. McClure goes with a breaking ball. You call it the wrist broke. It's a tough call for Kibler. He'll ask for by Simmons, the catcher.
So here's Willie McGee, switch hitter. Down the right field line, a foul ball.
Exciting news on NBC. Friday, November 19th. Mark it down right now. NBC Sports ringside, a 2-hour prime-time boxing blockbuster that'll feature WBC champion Dwight Braxton defending his title, 15-rounder against heavy-hitting top challenger Eddie Davis. Plus, we'll give you the other matchup after this pitch. Plus, unbeaten middleweight Bobby Ches in the fight of his pro career against rough Mustafa Hamsho, a scheduled 10-round slugfest. Mark that down. It's a Friday night, November 17th.
1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out. McGee waits. Doesn't get it. Took something off to pitch, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. McGee hit into a force play in the 3rd inning. Ozzie Smith, the on-deck batter, stole second and scored on a base hit by Tommy Herr. Struck him out. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts.
Number 1,
McClure.
You know, Tony, the quality of this Milwaukee team really is evident here. When you lose a Roland Fingers, he was to Milwaukee what Suter is to St. Louis. You lose him for the last 5 weeks of the season, and the McClures and the lads and the rest have just picked up the slack, and here they are.
And the Brohard comes in the league championship series and scores 4 runs, tie a record. He'd hardly played down the stretch.
Fastball misses, ball 1. Molitor, even with the bag, not really guarding that line. A little closer than he normally would play. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes.
I often wonder with the hand-eye coordination that Ozzie Smith just displayed on that great defensive play, if he were a little stronger, what kind of hitter he might be. He gets his bat on the ball, but he doesn't have the strength to drive the ball.
2-0 pitch. 2-1 to count. 2 outs, nobody on. 4-4, bottom of the 7th. Cardinals tied it with 2 in the 6th. Up the middle, base hit for Ozzie Smith. Now it'll be a real cat and mouse game here between Ozzie Smith, who can run, and McClure, who, as Tony pointed out, has the great move.
McClure, 1 season in the minor leagues, picked off 23, and he has been called for 5 balks this season. He not only deceives that base runner, but he sometimes deceives the umpire.
Ozzie Smith has stolen 25 bases, caught 5 times. So the battle is on. Herr doubled to drive in a run in the 3rd, fly to left in the 1st, struck out in the 6th. He's got a good lead at first base, 1 foot on that artificial surface.
Kibler is really studying him down at first base.
And that was not his good move.
Oh, no.
That was the one he uses on Sunday afternoon at the Fats and Leans game. That was the good one, and he had him breaking back.
Smith, what he was doing right there, he took a little bit bigger lead than the first time. He was taking a one-way lead, but leading back towards first base, trying to force McClure to throw over so he can see that move and try and read it. McClure's got 2 or 3 different kinds, however.
1 ball to count, 2 outs. And the fans, knowing the reputation of McClure, are hollering, balk, balk.
Interestingly enough, the first year he came in the American League, the late Nestor Schuyler, an umpire, took films and studied them, and he said to McClure, "We have decided it is not a balk." The first time he tried it, the umpire called a balk.
He didn't go to the movie.
He has worked on this move since he was in high school, all on his own, looking in a mirror.
1 ball to count.
Bigger lead.
Breaking back again. Herr doesn't get it, trying to punch it into right field. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
What you might see as we've been studying on this split screen put up by Harry Call, our director, studying, you might see Ozzie Smith when he takes a shorter lead, but then he will try and get his momentum going towards second base. It's the old Maury Wills trick. Take a one-way lead, but going towards second as opposed to the one-way lead leading back towards first.
Herr doesn't get it, and it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. 2 outs. Milwaukee 4, St. Louis 4.
Bottom of the 7th. There goes the runner. Pitch out. They should get him. Did not get him.
Simmons looked like he had him on the pitch out. McClure unloads in a hurry. But Simmons, who is starting to drop down to a little more than 3/4, release point, lets the ball fly high. Ozzie Smith just guessing.
The new breed, belly flop slide. And straight for that bag. He got there. Everything was against Ozzie Smith making it. He didn't have that good a jump. There was a pitch out and still made it. Sheer speed and guts.
And we've seen the Cardinals that have been heralded around the National League for their run-and-shoot game. They've now had 3 stolen bases, and Smith's swipe puts him in position to give the Birds their first lead.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. That's the situation. Tied 4-4. Tiebreaker's on its second. Low, 3-2.
You got to look to the on-deck circle because Oberkfell, left-handed hitter, is the next hitter with first base open. And I'm sure that's what Teddy Simmons went out and told his pitcher.
3-2, 2 outs. Oh, 4, he walked him.
Not intentional, but close. He went right back to a breaking ball.
He just wouldn't give in to him. That is Ken Oberkfell, grandmother and father.
So Gene Tennis will come up and be the pinch hitter for Ken Oberkfell.
Gene Tennis, a disciplined hitter.
With McClure, the Brewers in the past have worked the play. I don't know if they do it in game number 2 of the World Series with the score tied at 4, but they do have a signal where Cecil Cooper, if that runner gets off too far at first base, McClure from the stretch will throw behind that runner.
Tennis is 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter, and Simmons really getting it all straightened out with his left-hander, because the man of the hour, as we look at the Cardinal bench, Oberkfell was due up, taken out for a pinch hitter. The battle is between McClure and Gene Tennis. 2 outs. Tennis, 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter. There you see the runners. Ozzie Smith at second, Tommy Hers at first. Curveball strike.
That Brewer infield can afford to play a little deeper now with 2 outs. That runner at second to try and knock anything down. Prevent it from going to that outfield. A strong throwing arm is Charlie Moore in right field. Thomas in center has had a little shoulder problem lately.
1 strike to count. Tennis the pinch hitter waiting. 4-4 the score. Outside, 1-1 the count.
Harvey Keene, a quiet bullpen, going with McClure.
Foul ball down the left field line. A breaking ball out in front, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now. Chuck Hiller, the third base coach, shouting instructions to Ozzie Smith, who's on at second base. There you see him. At first base, it's Tommy Herr. Smith will be off at the crack of the bat. There are 2 outs. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Smith, he's ready to go.
Blocked by Simmons on that low pitch. There's Keith Hernandez on deck. Blocked by Simmons, which prevented those runners from advancing a base, which would put that runner at third base.
For the score. High fly ball, center field. Gorman Thomas waiting. Makes the catch. Ends the inning. So at the end of 7 innings, the score here is Milwaukee 4, St. Louis 4. And due up for Milwaukee, Gorman Thomas, Roy Howell, and Tony Moore. 4, we got a tie.
Welcome to the Timex freeze test. I'm going to freeze this quartz analog Timex in this liquid nitrogen at 320 below. How cold is it? Watch this carnation. Baby, that's cold. Will our Timex quartz analog work? I knew it would. Durability, beauty, and great design aren't expensive, just rare. So wear a Timex, because Timex makes technology beautiful. How am I doing, John Cameron Swayze?
From the furnaces at Ford, it's Mustang GT, the boss for 1983. Hot new styling. New 4-barrel carburetor, a 5-liter high-output engine. The boss, the 175 horsepower Mustang GT. One hot piece of American steel.
Have you driven a Ford lately? 9.
The battle between the chef and the baker has been going on for centuries. Until the Sharp Carousel convection microwave oven brought them together. As a microwave, it's better for fish and casseroles. As a convection oven, it's better for cakes and pies. And the Sharp Carousel turns the food so you don't have to. The Sharp Carousel convection microwave oven. We replaced 500,000 transistors and diodes with one tiny chip, Sharp.
This USBA title bout will be a brawl. Frank the Animal Fletcher takes on James Hard Rock Green. The styles hard-hitting and relentless, the impact guaranteed. Plus, Gentle Giants share their ancient traditions. On NBC Sports World, it's a World Series weekend.
Busch Stadium, St. Louis. We have a 4-4 tie as we go to the 8th inning. Gorman Thomas leads it off. A new third baseman for the Cardinals, Mike Ramsey, is gone in, replacing Oberkfeld. Outside corner, strike one. Pitching off a stretch. A familiar position for Suter. A lot of pitchers are doing that. If you feel better, do it.
Whitey Herzog had to make Suter a factor in this World Series sooner or later. Put him in a little earlier than usual.
High foul ball. A major leaguer way up there. Porter dancing around and makes the play. That was a tough play. And Bruce Suter, noted for his split-fingered fastball, and I couldn't believe it when he told me about it, and there it is once again. Now, he says the fingers are the factor, but the thumb is like shooting marbles, and he has a callus on his thumb. Here's the rotation. That is Suter showing us how it reacts, and there's the thumb.
Suter says the kind of spin it has, he said it's like a backup slider. Once in a while, it's like a screwball.
And again, the reason why other pitchers don't use the pitch if it's that successful?
Because he won't show them how to do it properly.
And their fingers aren't big enough, huh?
There's Ramsey, the new third baseman. Roy Howell, strike one, strike two.
Well, I had an interesting conversation from former great screwballer Cy Young Award winner Mike Marshall a couple of days ago, and he said he has studied high-speed films of Suter, and he said he really throws a one-fingered screwball. That's the terminology Mike Marshall used. And he said he caught the action of very high-speed film that he stopped.
1 ball, 2 strikes. I still believe Suter. He struck him out. I'm sure.
And one of the things about Suter is his unbelievable control. He does get hitters to swing at bad pitches. He gets even good low balls. There's the motion. You can see he injured his arm, and the late Freddie Martin taught him the pitch. earlier this year when he was having trouble, when he couldn't finish off hitters, he called Mike Rourke from Pawtucket.
Did you see his hand on that shot?
The middle finger was off the ball.
It was off the ball. That was a great shot we got.
It's a one-fingered screwball. Told you. Mike Marsh.
High hopper. Ramsey back. Long throw. It's going to be close. He'll not get him. Infield hit. A base hit. Ramsey came up with it, but couldn't get Charlie Moore.
Jim Gantner.
Here's the motion once again.
Watch his right hand now. Look at his finger. You see it?
Yeah.
Middle finger was off the ball.
Screwball spin. There's Ramsey, who's guarding the line for Charlie Moore. Another one of those artificial surface hits where he has to go back, and Moore shows a little bit of the speed. You know, the Cubs were a couple of days away from releasing Suter until he came up with that split-fingered fastball.
He just will not give in. Gantner, strike.
You missed your calling, Tony, when you didn't go into espionage.
One strike to count on. Jim Gantner, base runner on. At first base is Charlie Moore.
And you can't hold him lightly, because if he gets a little bit of room, he will walk off and go.
Hernandez is holding him close. We're tied at 4 apiece. We're in the 8th inning. Hernandez has it, steps on the bag, and that was a tougher play than it looked. I'll tell you, he wasn't that sure he had it, but he had it. So we go into the bottom half of the 8th inning. We're all tied. Milwaukee 4, St. Louis 4.
I've been hearing the so-called sports expert talk about his realistic home video baseball game. Well, I've played real baseball. And I also played the new Atari Real Sports Baseball, and I like it. Because I can sacrifice fly, as well as steal, pick off runners. Hey, it's baseball like baseball should be played. And who are you going to listen to anyhow? That other guy who just talks baseball? Or a nice guy like me who lives it?
New Real Sports Baseball, one in a series only from Atari.
My doctor said no aspirin. With this headache, I guess I'll take Tylenol.
Take 3.
3 tablets?
No, Anacin 3. It's 100% aspirin-free.
I didn't know Anacin 3 is aspirin-free. I've got a choice.
Right. Like Tylenol, Anacin 3 is 100% aspirin-free and contains the most effective aspirin-free pain reliever you can buy.
Feeling better? Headache's gone, thanks to Anacin 3.
Maximum strength Anacin 3, 100% aspirin-free.
A reminder again, NBC Sports proudly presents a primetime doubleheader Friday night, November 19th, 15-round championship. A Dwight Braxton and Eddie Davis. And that'll be backed up by Bobby Chaz and Mustafa Hamsho. A 10-rounder. Friday night, November 19th, mark it down. They've been arguing about Bruce Sutter, Tom Seaver, how he throws that very difficult pitch to hit. Now, do you ever talk to him?
I talked to him at the All-Star game a couple years ago in Milwaukee. I talked to him yesterday. And I got to tell you, in all honesty, I still don't understand. and now here listening to you three guys talk about him, I know even less. I'm even more confused now. To answer your question, Dick, why nobody else throws it? I don't think anybody simply has mastered it. I don't think it's a matter of not knowing how. I think it's a very difficult pitch to throw, and he is very unique in being able to throw that pitch.
Hernandez leads it off. Fastball is high and tight. Ball 1, and the Milwaukee bullpen gets busy. Game-winning RBIs, Hernandez. 21, Clark 21, Guerrero 18. Curveball.
That was Guerrero of the Dodgers, not a Philadelphia Guerrero.
We got a little grudge match going on here. There's Peter Ladd who begins to throw. He pitched well in short relief, but that grudge match, Hernandez and McClure grew up together in Pacifica, San Francisco.
It's 3-0. And his crowd reacting the same as last night. We have 53,723 here. Ball 4.
It will be an interesting decision for Whitey Herzog with one of his leading RBI men on. Henderson. Hernandez has some speed at first base. Will he bunt him? And you get to Porter, left-handed hitter next with first base open. Or will he let him hit, or will he start the runner? You've got to be careful defensively. There are a lot of choices for Herzog.
Hitting away, and it's strike one. Simmons wants to talk to his left-hander, and he's going to go over a few situations. He might be switching.
Joe, just to go back to that old adage, a walk is as good as a hit, and some players today seem to feel it's an insult to take a walk. And here's Hernandez showing again his value to the club. He walked 100 times during the year. Here he leads off the inning with a big base on balls.
Leadoff man getting on the big play. We're tied 4 apiece. Bottom of the 8th. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Didn't get it. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's some members of the Brewers, and Cal McClish, one of their pitching coach, thinks that his fastball is the liveliest. And you could see the movement, how it just darted away, tailed away from Hendricks the last pitch.
1-2 the count, nobody out. 1 man on. Hernandez at first. Cooper has it. Yeah, 1, no return throw. There was nobody there.
That's the only reason there wasn't a return throw. There might have, because Hendricks did not get a good jump out of the box. Hit it off the end of the bat, and when McClure fell off to the third base side, he could not recover and get back. Cooper throws over the top. Yount is ready to go. He's got to play, but look at McClure. He is still not there. So Yount wisely holds on to the ball.
That was a good shot, because if Yount panics and throws the ball, they're in deep trouble.
Were you surprised at all that Whitey didn't go to the sacrifice there late in the game on a tie 4-4?
Not with a left-hander coming up, Dick. Not really. It was an option, and you got your cleanup hitter. He's there to drive home runs or hit one of the gaps.
1 man out. Porter, who can pull the ball. Big gap between first and second. Henrik is on. It's low, ball 1. Deanne Porter looking on. Darrell was the big hero in that 6th inning. A double down the left field line to drive in 2 runs and tied it. Strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 man out. Bottom of the 8th. Hendrick at first. Milwaukee 4. St. Louis 4. Lonnie Smith, the on-deck batter.
Cardinal Ball Club trying to salvage a split at home so they do not have to go to Milwaukee after Thursdays off. Played 3 there when they're down by 2, so they've had to battle back in this game.
Foul out of play. Couldn't help but think with that shot of Harvey Keene how quickly he gained the respect of his players when he took over as a manager. And Ted Simmons really put it in focus. He was asked by a writer, "You think you could have won without Harvey?" And Simmons said, "I would not have wanted to."
What a great answer.
I would not have wanted to.
They love him.
What an answer. What a tribute to Simmons and to Harvey Keene. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out.
What makes McClure's good move so tricky is there's a rule in the book that if your foot passes the pitcher's rubber, you've got to go home. What happens with him, his knee goes past the pitcher's rubber, but not his foot, and that's how critical his move is for an umpire like Kibler in this case to watch.
Fouled out of play.
Joe, just to go back to that very nice story about Simmons and Keene, a lot of folks watching the World Series who have not followed perhaps the pennant races all that closely, to remind them that Keene has gone through an amputation of a leg, surgery of an intestine, bypass heart surgery in the last 4 or 5 years. Man who has really fought off a lot of tough battles, and here he is now, the skipper.
An amazing man, Harvey Keene.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Line drive, base hit, center field. Henrik stops at second. Darrell Porter with his second base hit. And here comes Harvey Keene.
McClure tries to sneak. Like a fastball that was cut or a slider. Past Porter, he jumped all over it. He got those arms extended and the pitch out over the plate. Tore it up the middle. This is one of the things that Harvey said in his meeting. He said, I don't like to have meeting boys, and I don't like to make a lot of trips to the pitcher's mound. So you go out and have some fun and play. And he's had very few meetings since he took over.
Harvey, as you see, walking slowly out, the amputation, the artificial leg, the amputation below the right knee. And the doctor said he had gone in, had some soreness, had played 18 holes of golf, went in. The doctor told him the bad news. He said, let's go. Let's get it over with. I want to get out and play golf. I love the game too much.
Here comes Peter Ladd, the new pitcher. Ladd, who has really done a job for these Milwaukee Brewers, as we see Red Shane Deans and Whitey Herzog talking it over. Ladd was traded to Milwaukee from Houston for Buster Keaton.
He is a power pitcher. McClure leaves. He did a pretty good job. Ladd in that league championship series against the California Angel really replaced Raleigh Fingers with flying colors. Overpowering fastball, but it's fairly straight. What made him in that series against Gene Mock's Angels, he was throwing that slider over for strikes.
He's a big guy, 6'3", 240 pounds. And Raleigh Fingers, who would normally come in looking on and just hoping he could do it, but obviously can't.
That guy right there, Fingers, threw batting practice yesterday and said for the first time he did not feel pain, so the decision was made at this point. He will get the off day tomorrow, and chances are, if the situation arises, he will be in a ball game on Friday, but we'll wait for Friday.
Don't forget, later on tonight, it's the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, and then late night with David Letterman, and all the day's news on NBC News Overnight, all following your local news, except for stations on the West Coast, where they'll be seen at their regular time.
Joe Ladd wants to be a neighbor of yours out there in Arizona, but currently in the off-season he works as a probation and parole officer up in Cumberland County Jail in Portland, Maine. He said all of the inmates sent him a telegram, wished him well during the playoffs. It worked. He says they'll be watching tonight.
On Sunday, everybody was watching it, and the inmates were, according to his mother, except one guy. And guess what he was watching?
Sesame Street.
No, Escape from Alcatraz.
That's right. In fact, he said that the two of the inmates who signed the telegram congratulating him, one was a fellow named Mark Hansen, the other was Derek Sherman, and Derek Sherman caught him in spring training to loosen him up, one of the inmates. It's really an amazing story. With Houston for a while, they had too many relievers there, they just really had to give up on him.
So it's Peter Ladd. They're one man out. Henrik is on at second base. Porter is on at first base, and Lonnie Smith is the batter. He bounced out to short to second. He bounced out to third and to fourth, struck out to sixth. Bottom of the eighth, all tied at 4 apiece. Inside, ball 1.
We should remind fans, as we see Pearl Smith, the wife of Lonnie, that Ladd early on was in trouble with a breaking ball when he got it up. He lost a couple of games on home runs, but didn't have any trouble during the playoffs.
Inside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. One man out. Tied 4 apiece in the bottom of the 8th. Tiebreaker is Henrik at second base. Darrell Porter is on at first. Foul out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
Peter Ladd might have gotten a break. 2-0. That he ran that fastball in on the fists of Lonnie. Might have been a little over anxious. Might have been a ball.
Ladd, who's had more publicity because he wears 15 Triple E shoes than any ball player I can remember. Fastball misses, 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Listen to the crowd. The count on Lonnie Smith. A fastball to a fastball hitter. And Lonnie Smith fouled it off.
Radar gun just registered that pitch at 86. I believe that's got to be the slower of the two models. One registers 5 miles an hour or thereabouts slower than the other.
Boy, what a pitch. 3-2.
One out. Ball 4, bases are loaded.
Wow, Seth Simmons, I cannot believe it, neither can Peter Ladd. Simmons turned on home plate umpire Bill Haller. He is still talking to Bill Haller.
I'd like to see that one again. That looked like a good pitch.
Look at Harvey Keene. He can't believe it either.
That is the first time in this series that I have noticed a catcher turning on an umpire, and Teddy is having an extended conversation with Bill Haller. They're now loaded up.
And we have a pinch hitter coming out, Steve Braun.
Steve Braun stepping in now. We'll let you look at the 3-2 one-out pitch from Ladd to Lonnie Smith. Oh, my goodness.
Tough to take that
Teddy
pitch.
just set the glove right there, not even jerking. You can see him turn right there.
Simmons making sure that Ladd knows exactly what the situation is, and Braun is a tough pinch hitter. 7 hits in his last 16 times at bat as a pinch hitter. There's one man out. And Simmons reminding Ladd, if the ball's hit back to you, you gotta come to me. He's pitching off the stretch with the bases loaded. One man out. Infield is in at first and third. Ball 1. Simmons still going at it. One man out, 4-4, bottom of the 8th. Bases loaded. Ball 2. Diane Braun watching husband Steve. Ball 3. He's been wild, and the pinch hitter taking a good look at Chuck Hiller. He'll make him throw a strike. So Cal McLeish comes out as the Cardinals take the lead 5-4 as Ladd walked in the tie-breaking run, and this crowd all on its feet.
Little confidence builder as nobody is throwing for the Milwaukee Brewers. And now the strategy with one out may have to change. Harvey Keene with Willie McGee up with that tremendous speed is going to be forced to bring that infield in. You don't double him up.
tie-breaking run and swinging at the first pitch, a bad ball. 1 strike, 1 out, 5-4, St. Louis leading. Safe at third, line drive at Yount, 2 outs.
Really illustrates the damage of the base on balls.
And here's where the advanced scout comes in. They had to bring the infield in, but Yount was playing Willie McGee, a slap hitter from the left side, like a right-handed pull hitter, so he was positioned perfectly.
No defense for the base on balls. You make them hit it, they hit a line drive, it might go into a glove, and that's what happened with McGee.
Ball 1 on Ozzie Smith. Bases are loaded. Molitor in close at third. Hot smash. Hit the runner. Hit the runner. Hit the runner. The runs will not score. Ozzie Smith gets a base hit, but the inning is over. So Steve Braun was hit by the hot shot.
The ball shoots so on this artificial surface. Braun tries to get away, gets him on the back of the left heel, and it took him out of a possible rally. 2 runs were going to score.
So we complete 8 innings of play here. It's 5-4, St. Louis leading Milwaukee.
My American friends introduced me to my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Now I'm introducing them to my favorite food. With nachos, the best thing about light is it tastes great.
Not bad.
With enchiladas, the best thing is it's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. With burritos, the best thing is it's less filling.
Carlos, what's this?
And with jalapeno peppers, the best thing about light is it's cold.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Have you driven the Total Car?
Introducing a totally new Ford LTD. Reshaped.
Reshaped.
Refined.
Refined.
Redesigned.
Redesigned.
Inch by aerodynamic inch. From the ground up. The totally new Ford LTD. The Total Car.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Bruce Sutter and Raleigh Fingers, and Milwaukee missing Raleigh Fingers, but the news that Tony gave, good news maybe for the Milwaukee fans and players, because I tell you, he has really done a job in that great career.
Whitey Herzog brought in Suit early, but with an off day tomorrow, he's getting his innings pitched.
Trying for the base hit. Hernandez will have a tough play. He'll not make it. Molitor is on.
I wonder right there, Joe, if Hernandez didn't have one eye on the ball and one eye on Suter to see if Suter was going to get over. And while trying to look and see if Suter got a slow break off the mound, he may have peeked because he was going to catch the ball and maybe felt he had to dive. Look at this. He's already looking up for Suter, did not find the ball as it goes off the heel of his glove. I believe the runner would have beaten Suter to the base. And Hernandez knew it.
They give him a base hit.
Looked to me as if Hernandez, realizing the trap he was in, was trying to tag the runner before he had the ball. He didn't have enough grip on the ball to make the play.
Here's Robin Yount. Molitor back. They can do a lot of things with Yount in the batter's box and Molitor on first. Bunt and run, hit and run. Straight steal. 41 stolen bases. Only been caught 9 times. And there he goes. Swung on and missed. The throw is in time.
Suter unloaded in a hurry. So did Porter, and Herr makes an excellent play to tear it out of the dirt and tag Molitor. Boy, did Porter get rid of that ball in a hurry, Joe.
Yes, he did. And it was Molitor looking to see what would happen, and I got to give her a lot of credit, not only digging it out, Tony, but staying right where he was on the first base side of the bag and making the tag. Strike 2 on Yount. They
he had a chance to see what makes Sutter so great right there because he picked up his teammate Hernandez.
Darrell Porter has been having problems, really putting on an exhibition in the League Championship Series and here in this game, the second one of the World Series.
Isn't that something with Bruce Sutter? You expect that split-fingered fastball down low in the strike zone. He throws one up high, hard, that Porter could handle on the pot stealer.
Foul ball out of play, and that Yount couldn't get a piece of to protect his base runner, Tony. That's an amazing thing because he can handle that bat so well. And we have to vote for most valuable player, guys.
Well, after that last throw by Porter and with a couple RBIs, I think I may start agreeing with Dick Enberg. You've already kind of in your mind, back in your mind,
I like Porter. His two-run double was a key, and he got a single in the 8th inning to keep the rally alive.
That last throw, man, I think it did. Bring me to your side.
Sutter's in contention. Full foul. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And with 1 out, the outfield is playing about as deeply as it can in center and in left to try and prevent Yount from hitting a gap. They want to cut down the gaps. Herzog moved them back.
Give them a long single, but not a double that would put him in scoring position.
You bet.
Ramsey at third base is really guarding the line. Ozzie Smith will have a long throw. Two outs. 5-4. Cardinals leading. Top of the 9th. Sutter against Cecil Cooper. The crowd standing. Listen to them. They'll tell you what's happening. One ball and 1 strike. Porter going out to talk to his pitcher and gives me a chance that we've made it unanimous. Tonight's NBC Miller High Life player of the game is Darrell Porter. Miller High Life happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Darrell Porter to the Special Olympics.
Most valuable player in the National League Playoff Series and continuing his fine play. 2 hits last night, 2 more tonight.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Foul ball. Now the crowd is really getting worked up. Bruce, they're screaming. As I look around, they're all standing. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 9th, 5-4, St. Louis leading. Two and 2, the count. Apiece. 5-4, the final score here. The Cardinals defeat the Brewers, and
And we'll be right back with more right after these messages.
A middleweight brawl. Frank the Animal Fletcher takes on James Hard Rock Green. The USBA title is on the line. The action fast and furious. The styles hard-hitting and relentless. The impact guaranteed. Plus, gentle giants from the Far East share their ancient traditions. Watch Fletcher take on Green and the timeless battle of the Titans on NBC Sports World. It's a World Series weekend.
So, Game 2 of the 1982 World Series has been brought to you by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Timex Durability. Beauty and great design aren't expensive, just rare. Timex, we make technology beautiful. So for Dick Enberg, Tony Kubek, Bob Costas, and Tom Seaver, Joe Garagiola saying so long. Where St. Louis beat Milwaukee 5-4. Friday, Game 3 of the World Series starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television. Final score once again, St. Louis 5, Milwaukee 4. We're tied 1 apiece. We're heading for Milwaukee.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. We serve more of this land's top 100 business centers than any other airline. Fly the friendly skies.